Good numbing. Hello YouTube and welcome back to session 11 of Atelier Ryza 2. I don't think this is going to be our last one because I've got work later on, so it can't be on forever. I know like we're not even doing like 3 to 4 hour streams anyway, but you know. But we are getting very close to the end. We've got the Cladora Castle, the DLC area. But that's really it. Afterwards, we're heading back to the Mausoleum, and I think that's going to lead into the Underworld and then into the Endgame. The other giveaway that we're nearly there is this pause screen. I didn't notice it at the end of the last stream. I fired it up today, paused the game, and went, oh, hang on a minute. They did something like this in Ryza 1 as well. When you got right at the very end of the game, they changed it to a more direct picture of everyone standing together. And they've done the same here in Ryza 2, which is like the giveaway to me, yeah, we're at the end of the game. It's no longer pictures of, like, you know, us sitting on the sofa or trying to do some fishing or exploring a cave. No, we're all standing together in the light, happily. Even if Tao is, like, way too smug in that picture. Like, it's like, that's the face of a man who knows that, like, the royal, rich aristocrat fancies him, kind of, yeah, I'm living life, kind of face. But as always, YouTube, I have to get into a habit of saying it. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you end up enjoying any of the content you see, it genuinely really helps and pushes us closer towards our sub goals. Remember, at 450 subs, we will be starting Hades. Just throwing it out there. If you want me to see, you want to see some Hades, you want to see me try out that game, you know what you got to do. There are several more sub goals as well. You can find them in the community tab on my channel. So if you want to see there's any particular one you want to see, there's Cuphead, there's Hollow Knight, there's Dark Souls, there's putting me through Final Fantasy 2 near the end because I really don't want to do it. It's all there. So if you want to help us get there, please do so. Spread the word, do what you can, whatever you feel like. That being said, let's dive straight in to our next session of Atelier Ryza. I did literally nothing off screen because if I had, I would have noticed the pause screen. After I wrapped up yesterday's stream, I went, got food, and then just kind of hung out with my family. I have changed colours though, because once again, new stream, new colours. If we don't finish it today, tomorrow's stream, I will put Ryza back in her default colours instead of changing them again, because I think we probably will finish it tomorrow. Because we've literally only got this, and then we're going in here. There are event scenes, like we still need to get Underworld Crystals so we can make the next ore, so we can make that thing for Dennis. But like outside of that, yeah, we're kind of done. So I'm going to go back to the Forest of Flames to start with. I'm pretty sure, yeah, we're missing a fragment. As I say, I'm pretty sure we haven't got everything here. So I'm just going to run around and see if we can find something. I mean, I have a hunch where it'll be. We still don't have the red hook. That's just crossed my mind. Well, I would have thought we was going to get that, but no, we still don't have the red hook, and I don't know what we need to do to get access to it. I would have thought it would have been a plot thing, but no, it just hasn't shown up yet. Maybe it's like a certain recipe you have to make eventually leads into making a better chain or something. Also, when we do finish this game, I don't know if I'm going to do a post-game stream. Some games I do, some games I don't, it depends on it. Like, Lydian Suli straight up doesn't have a post-game, really. It just goes straight to NG+, so I didn't there. In Ryza 1, the only reason I did a bit of post-game because we had the DLC to do anyway, and then once we were done early, I was only 1 trophy off the Platinum. But in, like, things like, in Sophie 1, we only did a bit of post-game, and in Furious, like, the post-game is the second half of the game, so we did a lot of that. And I'm glad I did, because my opinion of that game would have been way lower if I had stopped when the credits rolled. So the game gets way better after the first credit drop. Hey, he wants the nice number, great. So I don't know about this one, we'll see how it goes. A stone with a pattern like a fiery vortex, even placing it near an open flame is enough to turn it into a pillar of fire. Now that I think about it, it was after that huge earthquake that we first started finding these things. What about this area? Only 7 of 11. Oh wow, okay, we really did kind of hoof it out of here, didn't we? There's a lot we haven't explored. Alright, time to do it running around. To be fair, I imagine some of them are right up the top, because we didn't go into the castle, because I was like, that's what I kind of gathered we'd come back to. You always need sapling branches. We still don't have rank 3 of either of these either, so there's a lot we're still kind of missing, I fear. It might be that some of it is just like intended for later, or intended to be post-game or whatever, but as it stands, it's just there's a lot we don't have. Like, it's weird, like, the parallel, like, in the Mysterious games, we quite often was in a point where our equipment wasn't sufficient enough. Well, until, like, Liddy and Suli, that one we kind of got on top of it. But our gear to actually explore the map was usually alright. Whilst in this, it feels like my gear to explore everything is missing pieces. I just want to linger near here to see if the compass went off. It didn't. But our equipment is through the roof. Like, I don't think there's an easier game in the series to get equipment together. I'm not saying this is the easiest Atelier game, but it does feel insanely easy to get insanely powerful. Like, it feels very easy to just upgrade your equipment. Like, even though we're a whole class of weapon behind, we're still in top form for the most part, sort of thing. Like, we had like one boss fight where we did it early that was felt we were a little behind on, but that was it. Everything else, it feels like we've been on top of. Oh, that was... Okay. I was like, how did we get there? I remember. There's like a water short. And when you dive under, square to dive. I meant to press X. You can skip through. I was waiting to see if there's anything here. That'll be a no. The compass isn't going off. Okay. But when we do finish, this obviously isn't the end of our Atelier journey. Ryza 3 in next month we'll be diving into without much hesitation. We get like that's intended to be a day one purchase. The only thing is that I want the pre-orders to go live. I want the digital pre-orders to go live so I can actually pre-order it and get it sorted so I can have it pre-installed and good to go before it's out. So then when it gets to launch day we can just dive in. And they still haven't gone live. It's still on the PlayStation Store, just says announced. Which means, like, you know, it hasn't been fixed in to become available to pre-order yet. And I'm like, come on! And I know they've done it in the past, because there's pre-order bonuses that I spot on the other games. It's like, oh, you can't get it, because you didn't pre-order it at the time. Because I only got into the series just after Sophie 2 came out. I got into it last year. Alright, there probably is one or two more fragments over there. But we have to go all the way around. You know what, let's just do that now. We have to go, like, here. Please bring up the map. And then we need to get to, like, there. Okay. Also, where did this guy's brother run off to? You know that bigger one we found? We attacked it and it warped away. Where did that end up? Because I was adamant we was going to get it as a pet considering it lived and ran away. But no, it just never showed up again. Oh. What? We got... That's where the Dunkelheit's been hiding? Well, I guess that makes sense. You tend to get Dunkelheits easier in the DLC areas in every game compared to the normal ones. But now we have Dunkelheits at least. That's cool. And if you're newish to my series, and newish to my streams, Dunkelheit is like next to the Philosopher's Stone, one of the rarest resources in the game. And it's the same in every game. They're always like the hyper elite resources. Like you get them when you can, sort of thing. So for Dunkelheit to be in there, that's amazing. Are they all like... Yes, they are. Okay, so I'm gonna get some. To be fair, we don't have access to a Philosopher's Stone yet. Still. I don't even think they're, like, pick-upable. I think we have to craft them, but we just haven't, like, either found the book to make them, or found the pieces in general to make them. We haven't found the recipe, and or, like, put the right things together to actually lead to it. Oh, you're that travelling apothecary. We're just getting started here. Would you like to join us? This is not the time for the drinking party. All these abnormalities are the harbingers of a great disaster. You must leave here at once. You're always talking about some strange things. I don't know what you're basing this on. God, there's a lot of people here. I didn't even spot them at first. And there may be one up here. I don't think there is, but I gotta check. I don't think there is, but gotta check. No, absolutely not. But between this and Ryza 3, when we do finish this, which, to be fair, in of itself is crazy to me, because when I started Sophie 1 and knew I was going to do all 4 Mysterious games, then start the Secret Saga, in my mind, I was genuinely like, I don't know if we're going to finish Ryza 2 before Ryza 3. But now here we are, not only done, but with a month to play with. It's kind of like, oh, I wasn't anticipating that. I mean, I'm glad we're ahead of it, so it means when Ryza 3 comes out, we can literally be on the door with it. Because I'm super excited for that game. But it's still a bit like, oh, we actually got here this quick? Huh, well, what do you know? But that being said, after we're done with this, like, I am a JRPG man, and I'm like kind of accepting that embrace and leaning more into it. There is going to be other stuff, and ultimately, yeah, at some point... Oh, I almost went straight past that. I want to try some of the other sagas. I know Arland and Dusk are very different, and much older, but I still want to try them. More so Arland, because Arland's so far back. Like, Dusk was a very different company during Arland. And it'll also be fun to see the transition when we go from Arland 3 to Arland 4. Because Arland 4 came out way later. It came out, I think, in 2019? So 2019 or 2020. Either way, it came out, like, super late compared to the others. They came back to it in the same way that they came back to Mysterious a few years later. That being said, Mysterious 4 is nowhere near a bigger gap from Lydia and Sully. Like, Sophie 2, when you think about it, like, Lydia and Sully, I think it was, like, 2017. And Sophie 2 was 2022. I think with Arland, it's like from 2010 to 2019. It's like, oh, it's actually kind of a big leap. Okay, so that's how you get up here. There's a mini-boss there. And there's still 2 fragments missing. One of them's probably a shadow enemy. So I don't think I've seen one here yet. Oh, they're both here. There's a red and a... Okay, there's a Shadow Beast and a that. That's the recipe to get rid of that Firestorm, I'm guessing. So let's get this first. So pick up the recipe piece then afterwards, and we'll know... Because we cleared out everything in the other areas, we have to have everything, so we can just go from there. But it also means we're getting closer to me having to actually consider where I put this on my lengthy tier list. Because I have a tier list of every Gust game I've gone through, from the one I think is the weakest all the way to the one I think is the best. Right now, the one that I still think is the absolute weakest is unfortunately Knights of Azure 2, but that's not the game's fault. It's just the technicality of its fault. The game is very crashy, and it dragged on the experience and made me not want to play it. And because it's the only Gust game I don't want to play, or don't want to continue playing, it by default is at the bottom of the list. But I know if that game had its stability issues fixed, it would probably be one of the better ones, because I genuinely love what that game was trying to do. Whilst my favourite is still Blue Reflection Second Light, because that's turning into one of my all-time favourite games ever. Genuinely, I adore that game. That's a lot of fire, you think? Even if we dunked ourselves in water and ran full speed, I don't think we'd get through. This is a bad idea. Even the strongest monsters don't go near it. The fire is too strong. But if treasure exists, it must be behind it. We have to find a way to the other side. I'm here. Hey, one man. Hope you're doing well. We've just started, or proper started, our investigation to Caldora Castle, the DLC area. Which means no voice acting, so it's all on me. Whoa, it's a huge fire vortex. Relaxing, good. It looks like it is trying to stop us from going forward. And it looks like we should be able to cross to the other side if it weren't for this vortex. Yeah, if not for that vortex, these flames could just go out. Where's his mask? I just noticed. Did you see that? His mask was gone. Did it not load in? Although it doesn't look like there's going... That's not Claudia's voice. Although it doesn't look like they're going to anytime soon. Might be easier to just look for another way. Yeah, true. Let's look around a little more. I want to see Clifford's face again. Make sure I'm not going crazy. It's 2 days off, though, so we've got to not do anything. I get you. If you're, like, constantly active, when I took that week off from streaming, like, over Christmas and, like, going into New Year and whatnot, I felt like I was twiddling my thumbs so much. Because I was like, I just want to go do something. I want to either edit videos or do another live stream or what. Like, you get into the habit of it. What's this? It's actually part of the reason why I stopped taking 2 days off and started only taking 1 day off a week. Because I used to take Wednesdays and Saturdays off. Whilst now I only take Saturdays. But afterwards I was just like, well, I'm not doing anything on the Wednesdays. I'm just kind of twiddling my thumbs, getting bored, so I might as well stream on it. And so it just changed from there. But I still make sure I have 1 day off because I'd probably just destroy myself if I didn't. Look, the flames are getting weaker, just as we expected. I have heard that these flames appear and disappear periodically. I'm glad we took the time to observe them. Well, I have to at least 2 days. Yeah, you gotta give yourself some you time, even if you do get bored. I can hear someone talking. That's true. Do you think there are times when the fire vortex also becomes weaker? Last time I streamed for. Yeah, considering you do like half a day streams, literally, at times. Like I was in, it's like, oh wow, that man nearly did like basically 12 hours again. This might happen tomorrow or a month from now. Or maybe it's completely unrelated. You know, it's probably a good thing that YouTube tends to have problems with streams going over 12 hours long, because it forces you to stop and take a breather. A month from now, maybe it's completely unrelated. I used to do more. Yeah. I don't hear anything anymore. Could it have been a memory related to the fire vortex? If I ever, I'm not saying I will, because obviously it just depends how things go. If I ever end up doing this as a job, like if I ever end up in a position where like it's a little bit more consistent, I'm getting more money in, I'm getting yada yada, I'd probably make every stream like a day. Like I'd probably genuinely do like 9 to 5s. Sort of thing. And actually like make it like longer and more proper streams. Like I'd do it proper sort of thing. Because currently the only time I do long streams is when like the situation demands it. For whatever reason. Or if I really want to keep on playing the game. Anyway, I don't hear anything anymore. Could it have just been a memory related to the fire vortex? Think what works? Yeah. I like my 3 to 6. That's my aim target. 3 to 6 hours. If I go over 6, there has to be a reason for it. And if I go under 3, there has to be a very good reason for it. I don't like going under 3 hours. I feel like it's not much of a stream if it's under 3, but that's just me personally. If it's like a collab stream and they're only available for 2 hours, that's different. I'll accept it for what it is. But if it's like for me and just like, you know, chatting, doing what I can, whatnot, I want it to at least be 3 hours. So 3 to 6 is the range I try and aim for. But the reason why I said I don't mind going over is like, say like when I cover Danganronpa 2, firstly I don't even know if we're going to be able to cover it a case a stream because those cases are longer. They're like a good 2.5 hours longer per average. So like the idea of doing 8.5 hour streams per case, I'm like, we'll fucking see. We'll see. That's why I didn't mind taking a little more time off between Dangan 1 and 2. So I was like, we'll fucking see. I adore Dangan 2 completely, but it doesn't change the fact it's longer. But if it's like we're nearly done and we're like 6 and a bit hours in, obviously I'll just try and finish the case then instead of just stopping there and leaving it half finished. I'd want it to have some kind of like conclusive lock on. My old habit used to be way worse. For me, like I try and like focus my mind to only want like to try and get 3 to 6 hour streams. But my old habit used to be as long as I make progress. And as much as that sounds simple and probably easier to aim for, that was what ended up resulting in 8 to 9 hour streams sometimes. Because I didn't feel like I was making enough progress, so I kept playing. And so I had to force myself out of that habit because I was just doing more harm to myself than good for streaming for too long. Because, like, I don't mind going for bathroom breaks because, you know, I'm a human being. Or, like, getting water breaks and whatnot. But I don't want to go on, like, a lengthy food break at any point on a stream. Because I just don't... That's just me. I don't want to do that. So doing, like, 8 to 9 hour streams, I'm not eating anything for those whole 8 to 9 hours. I'll have my water, but I won't eat anything. So I'm usually fucking starving by the end. So I just don't like doing streams that long. If I had Facecam back on, which is something I'm being worked on, I just want to have, like, a small raised shelf to, like, the side of my desk to put the camera on that. So then, like, I'm not, like, it's not like you're looking up at me from, like, a super low angle all the time like I used to. I want it to be a little bit more, like, level-headed. But one thing at a time. I'm doing long streams without eating. Yeah, no. It's just my own bad habit. I just don't like to go get food whilst I'm streaming. I just go into focus mode. And to be fair, I usually only have 2 meals a day. But there's a difference between I'm not doing anything, I'm not really in the mood for eating, and I'm in the middle of doing something, now I can't go eating. You know, it makes you feel worse, it makes you feel hungrier. Anyway, what is this thing? I can feel a strange power emanating from it. I better take it with me, it might come in handy. You obtained the Fire Vortex Crystal. Just makes best for your health. Yeah, I know. Alright, let's see if we can make this recipe. Damn, that is some artwork for the underworld. Still need to do that mining thing, but we need an underworld crystal. And then this vortex. Mine entrance fire vortex. Oh, we've got like 20 of these to go through, so it might be here for a second trying to find which one is fire vortex mine entrance. Phenomenon, fearsome monsters. There we are. Of course, as soon as I say that, it's actually not that bad. Smell something strange, air could ignite. Oh, so there's gas in the air. Got it. Fuel is finite. Fire. Treatments, Lost Kingdom. Strange event, incidents. Smell something strange, air could ignite. There we go. Cold Steel 2 is awesome. That's badass. How would you compare it to the first? Oh, no, you haven't done all the endings, so you can't compare everything. Divertisement? You have to explain what you mean by that, because I'm not sure what you're on about. Mountain fire and underground. Swirling flames increase the strength of any fire. Oh, nice. Catalyst burn through the remaining fuel. There we are. I was like, have I gone past it? Weakening fuel is finite. Oh, we saw that. There it is. Alright, we got our recipe. Let's do some reading. The old mine entrance is blocked by a fire vortex. There aren't any known entrances, so those who want to get into the mine will have to deal with this fire first. If you smell something strange, put out your lantern fire immediately. This smell is probably due to a flammable gas, and the air could ignite at any moment. Basically a section where you play as a protag from a different game in the Trail series named Lloyd, and you're trying to recover data while playing Reen, the main protag. Do you think that bit would be better if you had the context from that other protagonist? Like if you played Trails from the Sky or whatever one he came from? Like, do you think that would sit better if it was like, oh well, we played this cool protag from the other game, but because you don't have that context, it just feels a little lesser? Just asking. I'd have no idea. Anyway, the entrance to the old mine is blocked by a fire vortex. All signs point to this being a natural phenomenon. Because then the question is, do you think you'll try the other Trails of games after Cold Steel, once you've done all 4 of them? Mountain fires erupting from underground. A flammable gas must be constantly slowing leaking from somewhere, but it doesn't seem to be limited to a single location. It seems that a flammable gas has been leaking from the ground of this mountain for a long time. When this gas burns, it creates powerful flames. Problem is, I'm nothing for Lloyd, but I really, really like Rain. Yeah, fair enough. I guess that's the thing, like, if you have a protagonist and you've seen them develop and grow, you're gonna be attached. If you have this different protagonist that's from an era you haven't experienced and so don't know their story or growth, you are gonna be a bit like, oh, come on, send me back to the guy I know. Plan to do both Zero as well as the Sky miniseries. Fair enough. And I mean, to be fair, like, the rabbit hole's been opened for you. Once you tried Cold Steel 1, I kind of gathered how much you enjoyed it, you was eventually going to try the rest. It's kind of like with me, like, after Mysterious and Secret, it's like, yeah, even if they're older and wonkier and different, I want to try Arland and Dusk. And Reen is easy to like. That's good. Anyway, the swirling crystals that were first discovered after the earthquake appeared to have the ability to increase the power of any fire in their vicinity. The stronger the flames, the quicker they should burn out. After the earthquake that shook the mountain subsided, strange crystals were discovered in the mine. These odd stones had patterns resembling swirling flames, and appeared to have the power to increase the strength of any fire nearby. The crystals of the swirling patterns can increase the strength of the flames. Adding extra catalysts might let us quickly burn through the remaining fuel. But I don't think it will work unless we can gather a whole mountain of these crystals. It's rain, despite being a slight ghost on the outside, is much more depth and nuance to him. Difficult to have a more generic Japanese self-insert as a temporary protag. Yeah, that's things I say. If he was the one that if Lloyd was the one that came before, I'd like to imagine the quality of the writing. Not say it'd be bad, but it would be older. So like some of the things would be less experienced, so it won't feel as good, or might feel as somewhat more generic, especially if you don't know their story. It's like if I started with Theoris instead of Sophie, I probably wouldn't have cared that much about Sophie. You know? Because, like, you know, Sophie's barely involved in that game anyway, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I wouldn't have cared as much, because I had the context of Atelier Sophie, I was like, ah, there she is! Every time. Anyway. The observation log. Day 1, the flame burned strong. Day 2, no observable change. Day 3, the fire seems to be weakening. Could this mean the fuel is finite? There should be a limit to the amount of fuel a mountain can contain. A catalyst that increases the strength of the fire would increase the rate of consumption. You'll need a large amount of the catalyst to get enough effect, though. I'm comparing with self-insertion. That's fair enough. Like, I struggle to do that. Like, when I was younger, any self-insert protag I tend to like, because I just made them what I wanted. But as I've got older, I kind of want a written, more interesting character that stands on their own, not just a self-insert. Back for Masculine Open Relationship Spectrum. Lloyd's all the way left and Rian is near the centre. Fair. Oh, I did get a couple pieces of these. I was never finished it. Pickaxe swallowed up by the crystals. Dun, dun, dun. I love this track, by the way. This DLC and dungeon track is really nice. It's slow, but it's got power to it. People medium anime JRPGs. Yeah, I know. I just like the character. They can be a self-insert, but I like the character to have something that makes them them, and not just be like a blank slate. So it was one of the things I loved the most about Soul Hackers 2, is that Ringo was entirely her own person, but you could still influence her choices. I love that she was such a sassy bitch, but in the best possible way for like the whole game. But you could influence her a little bit. I don't think we have the pickaxe, so that's still a dud. What about Fairy Stone Fragment lost at the manor? Nah. Sort of the blank slate, but Reen is more of a character. Yeah, then we've probably got a similar opinion, if not the same, then one man. I just prefer characters to have, even as a main character, I'd like to have them have something to it. It's another reason why I like Final Fantasy XII, because the main character, the actual main character, the protagonist, Vaan, is 110% a complete fucking blank slate, but he's also like a secondary character to his own story, and what I mean is everyone else is the real main character, and the story is far more focused on them. So you just focus on the character you like. If you like Basch, it's Basch is the main character, and you could argue it. If you like Princess Ash, Ash is the main character, you can argue it. You know, like, every character has so much more depth. Vaan's just along for the ride, and that's his whole character. You can just put Vaan out of your mind and pick any other character you'd like to be your main, and it makes sense, and they're well written. Even, like, Vaan's girlfriend has more depth than Vaan in 12. The only thing Vaan's got throwing for him is that, I want to be a sky pirate. And, like, that's his whole character. And at the end of the game, it's, I'm a sky pirate. And it's like, yeah, great character growth, my dude. As Penelope goes on a journey of self-discovery, Princess Ash learns, like, the value of her kingdom and the value of what's truly worth fighting for. Basch is a man who was the traitor of his country, the one who sold out the king and resulted in their death, and is, like, imprisoned to be tortured for a lifetime, giving a second shot at life. What do you do from that dark place? Fran was exiled from her home and ended up joining a band of bandits, and it's where she goes and where she decides to find her morals and build her own path, even opposed from her family. With no actual desire to return to them, she accepts her consequence and moves on. And like Balfair, one of the main villains is his fucking dad, and it's like a mad scientist, and it's how he challenges his father and how he finds the ability and the confidence to see his foot forward. Like, each character has so much more going for him, and then Van is just, I want to be a sky pirate. And he's like, shut the fuck up, kid. Sit down. There's another Western certain values, different in Japan's. True. But then saying that, I was thinking about 12, they kind of then oversteered, because that was a complaint of 12, that Van was like such a non-existent character. They kind of oversteered, because Lightning in 13 is so fucking screen dominant with her character development. It ended up pushing people away, which I think is a shame, because 13's character writing is its strongest piece. There's a lot of problems I have with 13. A lot of problems I have with 13. I agree with most of the majority that it's one of the weaker ones. I don't agree it's the weakest, because I think some people really exaggerate some of its problems. But its character writing is phenomenal. It's one of the best character writings in the series, because there's genuine drama between the characters. They made a group of 6 characters forced to work together that actually hate each other, that eventually become kind of like a dysfunctional family by the end and have it work. Like, it doesn't feel forced or out of place. The only bit that's forced is, or feels a bit off, is Hope's character, because he's only, you know... Well, Lightning was what made me want to try Modern Final Fantasy. I really fucking hope your first exposure to Final Fantasy wasn't Final Fantasy 13. I really fucking hope it wasn't, because yikes. Because that game's got... I don't mind 13, so it's one of the weaker ones, but I don't mind it. It's got a lot of problems, though. It's just the character writing was what kept it going and kept it afloat. 13-2, on the other hand, is way better. As a whole. And it's entirely because 13-2's plot is literally... Have you ever seen Quantum Leap? It's Quantum Leap. I find that this makes me think in existence. Yeah. And the funny part is that when you look at like developer interviews, that wasn't their intention. They wanted Lightning to be cool, not sexy. And yet everyone was like, when it came to the West, everyone was like, cool is sexy. Well, it was Tactics in 14. Tactics is a good fucking starting point, to be fair. If it's the original Tactics or the PSP remake of 1, they're good starting points. Tactics 2 I wasn't as keen on. And it's going on someone who doesn't like Tactics RPGs anyway. Tactics is a good starting point. The whole 13 trilogy also had this weird thing with Vanille and Fang, where, like, there was, like, so much goddamn subtext behind their conversation in the whole of 13-1. So much more goddamn subtext anytime you saw the two of them in 13-2. And then, like, so much more subtext in 13 Lightning Returns, and then, like, it's one random fucking side quest that finally puts all of that subtext into perspective and finally confirms it all, that, like, those two are, like, a gay couple and have been together for, like, because of, like, their race and generics and, like, the godhood shit, they've been together for, like, an eon. Like, but I get that they were trying to do the... policy disregards subtext. But it's like they spend the whole of 13-1 and the whole of 13-2 telling you that these two, their top priority is only ever each other. They literally say that. Like, there's a scene in 13-1 where they look at each other naked and don't even give it a second thought because they're used to it. And it's like, okay, I wonder why they're used to seeing each other naked. Like, you know, like, there's so much pieces. And then 13-2 goes super hard on it because anytime they talk about, Sarah, the main character of 13-2, talks about her husband, Fang or brings up Vanille, or Vanille will bring up Fang. It's like, why is it every time we talk about romance and marriage, you two bring up each other? What's going on here? But they don't bring it up in like a, oh, woe is me. They just go in, oh yeah, Vanille always does this and that, or whatever. Like, they do it like they're used to each other. And it's only in one fucking side quest in Lightning Returns that most people didn't do because the whole game's on a time limit, where they actually do confirm that, yeah, they've been like a married couple for like forever. But it's just like, what? Ugh. I get that they wanted, like, Square wanted us to figure it out, but it feels like in each game they got less subtle, and in the Lightning Returns, they just kind of went, well, have you not figured it out? They're like, have you not figured it out? Fucking come on! I have a subtext to realizing human memory and subjective emotions, to be absolute. The thing with subtext is, it's such a grey with me. Because on one hand, if handled properly, it's respecting the player's intelligence. If handled properly. That's the key phrase I'm going to use with this. It's respecting the player to be able to put 2 and 2 together without having to spell the answer. It's giving you the 2s and not giving you the 4. But on the other hand, sometimes it feels like the writers don't want to commit to something. Yeah, absolutely. Like, sometimes it feels like they just don't want to like commit to something, and so they just kind of go, maybe, but we're not gonna say it. Bye. And you're like, come on. That's when it annoys me. But I'd say 13.1 handles subtext very well. 13.2, it's more that it gets more blunt with its subtext. Like, it starts to stop becoming subtext and more like they're just telling you everything but the final word. As one answer. Absolutely, I agree. And then in Lightning Returns, they literally, the subtext just drops. They just spell shit out for you. But then I also say that I am biased on Lightning Returns, because that's the only Final Fantasy game in the entire main series that I have never finished, because I didn't want to. And it's a promise I have made to some of my friends who actually preferred that game, and a commitment that I'll make. If they ever do like a HD trilogy, I will do Lightning Returns. I will properly experience Lightning Returns and see what's good and bad about it. The only thing that put me off it is the fact that it's got the whole Zelda Majora's Mask thing. And the whole game's on a time limit. You've got exactly 13 days to save the world. As you happens when it ceases to be subtext. What I tend to do in my writing... 13.2 is my favourite. 13.2 is just phenomenal. 13.2 is in like my top 5 favourite Final Fantasies. I think it's a complete underdog game, because it didn't sell that well, because, I don't know if you know this, in 13.1, although it did extremely well in Japan and was heavily praised, it was like the most hated thing ever in the West. It was fucking despised as like the absolute worst evil of Final Fantasy. So 13.2 just didn't do well in the West full stop, because no one was interested after 13.1. But me, I liked 13 for what it was. It had problems. I'm not going to deny that. It had a lot of problems. Its pacing is astronomically slow to such a suffering extent. You literally can't level up until the 3rd fucking chapter of a game with 13 chapters. But that's besides the point. I still liked it. 13.2, however, just unlocks everything and says, have at it. And it was just so much more fun. They polished up the gameplay. They did so much. Western Value Anime Fandom versus Traditionalists. Yeah. 13.1 was very infamous in that it did extremely well and was loved universally in Japan, yet was genuinely, like, branded the worst video game ever made in the West. And I know that for a fact, so I remember, like, in the early days of YouTube, anytime anyone talked about Final Fantasy, 13 was always branded the worst thing ever. It wasn't just the worst Final Fantasy, it was, like, the worst game ever. People fucking despised that game. It was extremely overblown, the hate for it, but YouTube being YouTube, a lot of people then watched it at the time and made their opinion of that video, never actually playing the game themselves. Which is why, like, in the past few years, I've noticed it a lot. There's, like, a resurgence of 13, of people actually finally playing it and going, actually, this game's actually alright. Like, it's got problems, no one's going to deny it's got problems, but it's pretty alright. So its character writing carries it completely, and its music's pretty good as well, even if 13.2 completely dogs on 13.1, because the whole of 13.2's soundtrack is really good. Limit Break is just like the icing on the cake. One thing I do find kind of funny, though, is that the comparison between casual play and speedrunning, their opinions on the 13 trilogy. And because I actually keep up with Final Fantasy speedrunning, because every Final Fantasy game can be really broken in two for insanely fast speedruns, especially the 13 games, because of the whole crafting and breakdown system. If you know exactly what materials to get and break down, you can get the ultimate weapon, like, before Chapter 8 in 13.1, and just rinse the rest of the game. But it's like, what I mean is that casually, 13.1's considered the worst of the trilogy, and then 13.2's better, then Lightning Returns is the best, even though, like, I personally don't agree with it. But that's, like, the general consensus. Speedrunning, they completely flip it. Speedrunning, they fucking love 13.1 because of how open the crafting system is, that you can really break the game in two with your equipment and just rinse the game. And then 13.2's in the middle because all the options allow you for a smoother run. And in 13.3, because the whole game's on a time limit, the game's built for you to be able to rush through it, so there's only so much experimenting you can do. Because of how heavily, like, it's ironic that the game intended for you to run through fast is the one that kind of works the worst with speedrunning, because the routing's already there for you. But you can't experiment with it as much. So it's like, it's interesting how speedrunning, the opinion's the complete opposite way around. They love 13.1 and think 13.3's the worst. Yet casually, they think 13.3's the best one. So I don't really have too much of an opinion on 13.3, it's just I hate time limits in games as a rule. And so 13.3, especially when it first came out, I just had negative interest, and I played a bit of it, and it's like, nah, not for me. Especially because the game has a giant trap at the start, and I'm aware of that trap, And so if I ever did go through it, I would just not go there first. You start in a city with no time limit to tutorialize yourself, right? In 13.3. You do the whole city tutorial bit, you get pulled into the vortex and get told about the 3 core areas. You need to complete all 3 core areas before the end of the 13 days to save the world. Most people, myself included, fall for the trap of going back to the fucking city. It's like, well, there's tutorials there, so that's probably where you're supposed to go first, right? Wrong. You can't completely finish that story until at least day 6. If you go there first, you're wasting half of your entire time limit. It's such a trap. You have to go to the desert first. If you go to the desert first, that story has no time restriction or time barrier on it, so you can do the whole thing. And by the time you're done, you'll probably be on like day 3 or 4. And then at that point, it's up to you if you want to start the city, because by the time you get to the time restrictor, you'll probably be at the end of day 5, if not already at day 6. Or you go to the, I forget the last area, like that wind vortex windmill area, and do that first and leave the city till last. But you have to be careful, because if you miss your opportunity on day 6, it's like only on set days, so your next opportunity is day 8, so you're even further behind on that. So it's like, it depends how it goes. But like, it's such a fucking trap, because everyone goes back to the city first, and then is stuck there till like half the time limit, and you're like, ah! What was the ancient scroll for? Incendiary crystals effect, but there was something to do with this that I knew we needed to make. Let's make this first. I have no idea what it was for. I just remember it. I just remember it was something we needed to do. Dude, I could probably check my side quest. That would probably give it away. I see, it's the tastiest part. Oh, yeah, to be fair, I'll agree. Where's my blue neutralizers? Fine, I'll use a rainbow. What happened? Am I out of blue neutralizers? Since when? And I need, oh god damn it, what do I need for alchemy paint? I also love the main villain of 13.2. I think the 13.2's main villain is easily the best villain of the 13 trilogy. Caius is phenomenal. We need mixing oil. And he's voiced by Liam O'Brien in the English, in the dub, so it's even better. Because that man's like in the top 3 like sexiest voices in the industry. It's, oh. And his theme is sick, and his story is sick, because he's a tragic villain that's written well. Because your time shenanigans, to, like, Sarah's time travel shenanigans to try and save her sister, literally causes paradoxes that kills Caius' beloved. So of course he's out to fucking kill you. Because he's trying to stop you. As I say, it's not just that he's trying to stop you to get revenge, he's trying to stop you from killing other people accidentally trying to save your sister. And that alone is a great motive for a villain, and it also kind of paints Sarah as a bit of a problem. But it's like, I gotta save my sister. Yeah, but you're killing everyone else, you bitch. I love Sarah, really. I prefer her over Lightning to an extent, just in terms of personality, but still. Sounds like awesome, great morality. Caius is Caius is such a great villain, in my opinion. He's way better than that fucking priest in 13.1, and, oh, I forget its name, because it's way too long. The villain of 13.3. That's literally just God. To be fair, we did get a really cool one-liner out of 13.3. At the end of 13.3, I've seen the cutscene. It's my favourite one-liner from Lightning, because they do get a little cheesy in 13.3. Like, the final boss says something along the lines of, "Do you really believe you have a chance to stand against a god?" When Lightning turns on him, and Lightning, without missing a beat, just goes, "You must be new here." And I was just like, oh, damn! I was like, that's a sick one-liner, I don't care. I don't think he is one, though. I was like, Caius, like... The only thing with Caius is that they leave his story arc unfinished deliberately in 13.2 because they already had plans for 13.3. But in 13.3, he's only tied to like one loose story arc that you might not even do, which is another reason why it's kind of like, it's kind of like that's like another reason why I just kind of ended up like deterring a little away from 13.3 because so much of that game is through optional stuff that you have to go do, which I suppose makes it more rewarding to do it, but at the same time it was also a bit like, come on, I want to just experience these, you know. But I adore Caius. I think Caius is a phenomenal. Well, villain is technically the wrong way. He's an antagonist, but he is also out to kill you. So technically, he's a villain in that sense. Like there is no like other way around it. He wants to kill you because your actions of paradox jumping is dooming others' lives. Right, what else did I blinking need? Oh, I've got everything. Good. Unserving title. Yeah, I'd pretty agree. He's more of an antagonist than a villain. So the only thing that you can kind of say maybe is the fact that he is ultimately, yeah, he's trying to kill you. There's no two ways about it. He wants you dead because you technically killed his wife. But it's not that just that you kill your wife. Is that Caius's wife, or Caius is like the person he loves, is like this oracle chosen by God, so will always be reborn in another timeline. And you learn that like every single time she's reborn, Caius also does the same time traveling antics to go meet her. They fall in love with each other again because it's, you know, fate antics, they're always destined to be together, just for Sarah to then accidentally kill her because every time she fucks with time, it fucks with godhood. So it keeps on killing her. So it's not just that he's lost his wife, it's that he keeps on watching her die. Every single time he finds her and they fall in love again, she dies again. And it's just like, yeah, if I was him, I would also want to kill. I would also want to kill. Oh, the opposite of protagonist, Light versus L. Literally a contest between villain protag and heroic antag. Yeah. Right, so what's the point of this ancient scroll? I remember it's for something, but I honestly can't remember what. Well, I guess we're not going to find out, because I didn't get any cutscene, unless we'll get it later. I remember it's for something, it's just that it's not coming to me. It might be a quest thing, I'll have to check. Here it is, the incendiary crystal. Fee! Yeah, because I said not said DLC, so no voice acting. If I toss this into the fire, I should make it burn even harder, which will cause the fire vortex to consume all its fuel faster and weaken. In theory, at least. Oh, well, let's just give it a try. Well, just make sure it's not too strong, that you don't, like, burn your face off, Ryza. Oh, it was! Okay. Who wanted it? Tao. Oh, when Patricia arrives instead, what's going on? Oh, hey, Passy, what's going on? Have you seen Mr. Tao? Not recently, no. Why? He was supposed to come tutor me, but he said that he needed the day off, that it was an emergency. He's never done anything like this before, so I couldn't help but wonder what kind of emergency it could be. Oh, hey, boss. Hello? Oh, is Tao not here? Why does everyone come here looking for Tao? You do realise he doesn't live here. Right, it's like, this is my house! Why are you coming here looking for him? But this is where everyone hangs out, is it not? Oh, does that mean you're looking for Tao too, Patricia? That's right. He said he needed the day off from our tutoring lesson. Which means he's probably at it again. You think you know where he is? Yes, he's probably holed up in his room. That's where I went to look for him first, but nobody answered. Come on, just follow me. Boss is going to be like, look, I know a special way of knocking. It's called you kick the door in. So this is Tao's room, huh? Hey, Tao. I know you're in there. See, he's not answering. Hey, Mr. Boss, you can't just barge in. Watch me. Alright, Tao, I'm coming in. God damn you, Tao. Of course she was in here. At a time when he had no vehicles, no way could they transport so many materials. In which case, Tao, what are you up to in here? Huh? Oh, hello, what's going on? Don't give us that, your room is overflowing with books and papers. Sorry, it's a little messy. After talking to you the other day, things became clear. I went back all over my notes and I realised that my research over the architecture wasn't a waste after all. Mr. Tao, you look really awful, you know. Probably hasn't been sleeping. He does this all the time. Well, knock it off, Tao. You need to get some rest. I don't need rest. I need answers. No, actually, that is kind of what he's saying. I need to uncover the truth of that ancient time period. They had no obvious way to transport large objects, so how were they able to build all those structures? You see, it's because you can tell us later. For now, just go to sleep. There's that tunnel vision again, although I do think he's gotten a little better at least. Boss, I'll get him to stop. Maybe I should make some supplement for him. I have to observe everything from an untainted perspective. I need to visit the ruins again right away. Then please get some rest for now. You're a lost cause. So yeah, if Patricia's getting annoyed at you, you gotta listen, dude. So this is Tao's house. Tao's not in here. It's okay. Some kid is instead. What's going on at the farm? God, why is the ground so bright? Jesus. Oh, my eyes. What's the topic of discussion, you two? Again, the camera pans on something other than this bright ground, please. Sari's looking for a particular flower, but I don't think we have anything of that among our products. Flowers don't last long. We mostly only carry items that we know will sell quickly. You wouldn't carry a special item like that unless you were able to order it in advance. But now that I know, I'll certainly let you know if we come across a flower like the one you're looking for. Thank you. I really hope you'll be able to find it. Of course. Oh, so I could ask you a question myself. I must admit, I've noticed just how lovely your orange skin is. My skin? Do you think so? Never really thought about it. No, Claudia, don't fall into like the anime bathhouse trap of suddenly like being super interested in the girls' skins. No, don't do it. Don't fall for like the hot tub scene in every anime ever. Don't do it. You know, you mentioned it. Her skin is really nice. It's amazing. My skin tends to get irritated when I'm stressed out from my work. I see. That must be tough. It really is. Oh, I woke up the other morning and looked in the mirror and was shocked. So I was just wondering, how do you take care of yourself? Honestly, I don't really do anything. I'm not sure there's much I can tell you. Maybe my daily smoothie has something to do with it. There is a special smoothie made from herbs that are famous among the Green Plum clan. Oh, that's kind of cute. This like very reserved, but yet powerful girl just has smoothies every day. That's kind of cute. We don't eat vegetables or plants, but there are a few herbs that we do enjoy. I drink one every day, so maybe that's it. A smoothie made with special herbs? Oh, that sounds really healthy. Yeah, it sounds like something I would try once, convincing myself to go on a diet and then never have it again. Since you agreed to help look for my flower, I'll teach you how to make it. The ingredients are fairly common, so you can start drinking it as early as today if you like. Oh, I can't wait! Oh, I'll try it as soon as I get home. Okay, that didn't go the direction I feared it would. So I'm guessing we're going to end up making that. Oh, there's something else here for us. I'm trying to think, is there any story arcs outside of like Ceres that we haven't seen the end of yet? Like, is there side characters? I'm trying to think. I think we've seen most, if not all of them now. Hey, Seri. Why don't we head back to the ruins, the forest ruins? I don't really mind. Did I say something funny? No, it's just amusing how proactive you're being about all of this. Of course! We've already come so far, I have to see it through. Now let's go find this thing! We're going all the way out to the Mirage Land for this? Alright. Alright, back to the area, the exact area that gets crossed over into Blue Reflection. And if it's now you're here, one man, I can actually show you what the comparison is. This slope isn't a slope, it's a vine that you climb up in Blue Reflection. Because you can't go this way because the characters can't swim. And this only leads to water. So you go up here, you go all the way here. This little thin bit, you go down here because this bit up here is blocked off. You go down this thin bit and there's a tight rope that takes you to the island in the middle. Then another one that takes you to this bit here in the edge. that bottom left bit where the exclamation mark is also blocked off at first. You have to like destroy stuff to get it, but you then come all the way around to get up to that top bit. So this is the crossover. This is one of the 3 crossover areas, but they do make some changes because there's no swimming mechanic in Blue Reflection. So instead of it, they just make you go around the other way. So this slope isn't a slope; it's a vine you climb up, and you go that way around. The other area, there's still a third area we've yet to see, but the second area is here. I was trying to say, where is it? It's this one, the Fairy Stone Eater's Domain. That is also an area that is in Blue Reflection Second Light. As in the third area I haven't seen yet. It's like a castle with like a deep fog going through it that like kind of makes a giant U shape, but we'll get to that when we get there. Anyway, where am I aiming? It is bottom left, okay. Because in BR Second Light, like from that tunnel there's a zip line, you take it, and it drops you here. And then there's another one that takes you from here to this platform over here. And then once you get there, there's resources you can find that will allow you to build a shortcut zip rope, because that whole rock there isn't there. So you can make a zip line from the land's edge there that just literally just goes straight left to this spot. So you can shortcut instead of having to go all the way around. And it's probably where most players stop at first, because like that shortcut is where all the enemies go from like level 20 to like level 25. And because you're first likely to get here at level 20, you jump in, get here, and the level 25 enemies just rip your head off. So there's still one more area, but I haven't seen it yet. After this cutscene, I'm going to take a quick water break, because my throat's a little sore, and I've already drank my water, so I know I need to refill it. But let's see this first. Let's see Ryza probably fail to find the plant yet again. Hey Seri, what are you up to? I'm sensing a powerful energy. What is this? Whatever it is, I can sense it without even seeing or touching it. Could it be? Something with a potent purifying power is somewhere near here, I'm sure of it. I hope Seri's in Ryza 3. And they're not just going to do the whole, every game there's a new Oran girl that's a playable character. Because then it will feel a little bit more like, hey, here's this race character, we've traded them out for another one, you know? But I say that, this game wasn't too bad with it, because Lilla and Empol are still in this game, it's just not playable. I want Seri to like be a returning playable. It's kind of my thing. Like, if she's just returning in the story, but not playable, I'll be a bit like, oh, that's a shame. This must be it, right? Seri best go. I adore Seri. I think she's very charming. Without a doubt. I can feel it even from here, however. We gotta fight this monster first. Yeah, we have to go get through that thing first. I don't know who my actual favorite girl is in this game. Or in, like, the Secret Saga yet. Because all of them are really well written. I know who Best Boy is for me right now. Oh hell, the Chocobo, yeah. I know who Best Boy is for me right now. That's honestly, it's such a testament to the amount of a U-turn that character's had. But it's a tie between Tao and Boss. Like, Tao has had such a U-turn of likability between the first and second one. I thought he was straight up the worst character in Ryza 1. Like, it wasn't even close. Yet in this one, I genuinely really enjoy his character. I've had a blast every time he's on screen. He's a moron, but he's our moron. And Boss, I just really like where his character's gone since Ryza 1. I really like what they're doing with his character. And I can't wait to see him again in Ryza 3. Now we know for a fact he's going to be playable. And now we can see, like, the foundations of it in this game. Because I said, like, his whole character quest at the end, he makes a promise to Ryza that when he feels he's ready, he's going to join Ryza on her adventures. And it's like in Ryza 3, knowing that he's playable, it means he kept his promise. And I'm like, that's really cool. Like, that's really cool, knowing that, because we know he's playable in Ryza 3, he did keep his promise and go adventuring with her. Like, that's really sick. But of, like, the best girls, like, honestly, I love Ryza as a character. I love how bouncy she is. I love, like, how energetic and outgoing and forward-thinking and, like, proactive she is with everything. I love the relationship, or, like, the friendship, it's not a relationship yet, she has with Claudia. And, like, I think Claudia To be honest, I honestly think Claudia, she's slightly less interesting in this game. And I'm not saying that she's bad or worse. I think in Ryza 1, her coming out of her shell was like the nice and well-written arc. Yet in this, she's already out of her shell. She's already had that character arc. So it feels like it's just kind of like a, oh, I missed you, Ryza, and that's like most of her character. It's like a little bit of like flirting and a little bit of bait for like people who really want them to get together, but like not much else, at least for now. There's a couple things that imply maybe they'll do more later, but we can't do anything with that because Ryza 3's not out. Seri's great. I'm only going from left to right because it's the order of our results screen. Seri's great. I genuinely prefer Seri over Lilla any day of the week. I think Seri is fantastic. I love that the fact that she is just a bit quieter, a bit more reserved, a little bit more untrusting, but has a much gentler soul in general. Like, she might be less trusting, but she's gentler. Like, you know, she goes out of her way to worry about Fee and, like, pet him and look after him. Like, she wants Ryza to smile, like, in one scene earlier in the game, and she's feeling a little out of it. You know, she genuinely wants kindness and wants to help people. She's got a real sweet soul. She's just got a very quiet and hushed exterior. Patricia, on the other hand, Patricia, I think, is the one that's, like, fighting for best girl for me a little bit. I don't know who one is. Like, it's between her and Seri. But Patricia is genuinely, like, she went from such a character, I was like, who is this girl? Who's she doing here? What's this girl about? To, like, I really, really, really want her to get together with Tao like she wants. I really want it to work out for her, because I think she deserves it. She's a fancy pants girl, but she's a fancy pants girl that I really like, and hope gets better. And hope gets what she wants in Ryza 3. If there's, like I said, I'll be annoyed if Ryza and Claudia don't get together, but I'll be really fucking pissed off if Patricia and Tao don't get together in Ryza 3. I'll genuinely think that's a misstep on the writer's part if they don't get together. I genuinely feel like it's right there, come on. You know, like, don't just leave it as a, oh, well, as long as Patricia's happy, even if they're not together. No, these two they should be together. Figure it out, you two. I'll just trap them in a room and then like leave them to it for a couple hours to figure it out. And I think it will happen, to be fair. I know I kind of like jest about it, but because unlike with Ryza and Claudia, it's actually on the forefront of Patricia's character that she's not only has a crush on Tao, but to quote Ryza, so it's a line in the game, Patricia is in love with Tao. You don't drop a line with that and then not let that go anywhere in at the end of the trilogy, you know? That's got to go somewhere. So I have more faith that they will do that, but it'll also be worse if they then don't, because of the fact they had more deliberate setup. And I'm a complete sucker for heterochromic characters. Characters that have different, like an eye that's a different color from the other, immediately just gets a tick in the box for me. So all of the Oran characters we've met have kind of had that advantage right off the bat. What do you think, Seri? Could this purify the underworld? Touching it is confirmed that it does indeed have great purifying power. I believe this could purify the lands polluted by the Felucia. Then that means we finally found it! Alright! However... Heterochromacy is my OCD. I'm not like full OCD, but I do have a level of cleanliness and a level of everything has a place. But heterochromia is genuinely just been like, I always just looking at, ooh! I just always think it's cool. It's just me, though. It's just me. I know it's not for everyone, but I love heterochromic characters. And especially, I love it when it's not just the standard blue and red. Because there's so much anime where the heterochromic characters are blue and red, and it's like, okay, cool, yeah, good side, bad side, I get it. When it's like random colors, like it feels like, and then I'm a bit like, ooh, like it makes them stand out. Especially me with white and silver haired characters out there. This one. Even as powerful as it is, a single flower won't solve the problem. What do you think, Ryza? Could you use this to perform a miracle? Seri! Maybe. I can do something with the seeds. There's a chance I'll be able to replicate the seeds from this flower. Even that would be fine. After all, we can use them to grow as many flowers as we need. Right, heard, like, she's not red and blue, she's red and green, so it's at least enough to get a pass. Although I do wish there was a better option. Nothing's coming to mind. And we only have the one flower. If we fail, that would stamp out the only hope we have of purifying the underworld. I was so happy when you said I could bring happiness to everyone. So I would hate to do anything that might betray your hope. There's nothing more I can do with this flower. For me, this is a dead end. But that's not true for you. Look at that face though, Seri's beautiful. And she's always, no matter what, Seri always has an ever so slight blush. Which I think helps make her just seem more cute in general. But she, no matter what, like even now, you can see the lines, she's got a slight blush. I could use this flower to create seeds, and take at least one more step towards the solution. Myself, this flower. I mean, Ryza does in this moment as well, but that's because she's kind of a bit more, like, nervous and shy. And this flower, I'm entrusting it to all of you, Ryza. Use them however you see fit. But if you can't do it, I'm sure nobody else can either. But I think you'll do it. I believe in you. Any of you waste a flower, I won't lose hope. Because I know a kind, generous person who will help me go search for another one. Ryza's like, God damn it, fine! you little sweet talker! Then I'll be sure I'll do this right, to make sure that's not necessary. Thank you. I believe in you, Ryza. Alright, let's see if we can do this. The Segur Nohak seeds. Can we plant these seeds afterwards? That'd be the question. If I go to the farm and plant them and get like decent resources. Oh, you're like right here. Oh, I don't want to do this quest because then you'll leave. I want you to stay. Where is... Okay. God, we've got so much SP. I would love to spend it if it wasn't for the fact the trees the skill tree's maxed out. I genuinely, when I started the game, I thought the tree was going to go way out, all the way out, like these edges, or like both sides, but no, this is it. I've got the trophy, so I know that's it. So I was like, what am I supposed to do with all these skill points? There should be a system. If they bring back the skill tree in Ryza 3, there should be a system of converting your spare SP into something else. Whether it be resources, money, or anything. Just something. Otherwise, you just build up loads and you have nothing to do with it. Alright, let's see if this works. They would make some seeds, but do they have the same purifying power? You have nothing to worry about. I can sense the power hidden within each seed. It's strong enough to deal with the pollution left by the Felucia. I have no doubt that the flowers will grow. These are the seeds of hope that will save Conador. Speaking of the underworld, I wonder if that's going to be in the open world of Ryza 3. I wonder if like it's just going to be a chunk, like a gate that just finds like an open world, like underworld zone. Or whether that's just going to be dungeon only. That's good to hear. I was so nervous, my knees are kind of shaky. Now I can purify my home. The people, the animals, the plants, they will all finally return. And it's all thanks to you, Ryza. How can I ever repay you? Words alone cannot express my gratitude. I'm so happy. I don't know what to do with myself. Just seeing you happy is payment enough for me. You don't have to say any more. After all, I'm an alchemist. I'm just doing my job. Still, you put everything into helping me find the flower, and even managed to make the seeds. I never expected to meet an alchemist who would work so hard to save my world. Well, me wanting to save the underworld isn't entirely selfless, you know. Huh? I keep hearing how beautiful your world was before the Clink Kingdom and Felucia came along. I would love to see it myself one day. Aww. Actually, that is a point. Maybe in Ryza 3 we actually get to see a part of the underworld that's recovered. That would be cool. And I imagine if we sleep 2 days, we'll get to see the next part of that and finish off Seri's character arc. That seems to be the ruling, is 2 days and then it's good to go. So Ryza, like, got 48 hours sleep, and oh, look at that! So how are those seeds that I made going for you? I hope they're growing okay. Well, I planted them as soon as I could after you gave them to me. And you'll be happy to hear they did indeed take root. And they do still have their purifying power? I was worried it might disappear after they were planted. Actually, something strange kind of happened. And perhaps it was something to do with your synthesis methods, but the purifying power is even stronger than the original. It's stronger? Indeed. Do you think it's just because of the initial flower, or do you think you did something special? I didn't have the mental strength to do anything special. I just didn't want to waste that one-time chance. Well, either way, you really did perform the miracle I asked for. I have a feeling that by the time they flower, the purification will be even stronger. I'm not sure if I'd call it a miracle, more like a happy accident. You can call it that if you want to, but to me it truly is a miracle. Oh, I almost forgot. Aww. Aww. You can't do this to me. That's such a gorgeous piece of artwork. Holy shit. That is... Oh, fuck. Seri, you're beautiful. I want you to have this. I'm going to screenshot this knowing damn well that after the credits roll I'm going to go to the extra screen and get a full high-res screenshot of this. Is this one of the flowers? That's right. I planted them all the day you gave them to me, and this is the first one that sprouted. I thought it was only right that you take it. Seri, thank you. I promise I'll take good care of it. I'm happy to hear that, and I'm glad you like it. You really are an honest alchemist, and you will always be my friend. Aw, budding friendship. That was a cute story arc. Let me quickly check my trophy list to see if there's any other story arc I haven't done. Right, so... I've done Claudius, Lentz, Taos, Patricia's, Clifford, Seri, Boss, Zafine. I haven't done Dennis yet, we're still working on that. I haven't done Romy? What am I missing with Romy? What the fuck does she want? And I've done Cassandra. Okay, so I'm missing 2 characters. Hey, Romy. Hey, what's going on with you? What do I need to do for Romy's? Oh, before I do that, let me actually go get my water like I said I was going to. I ended up putting it off. Wait, what's down here? Hang on, I'm putting it off again. What's this? Oh, it's a turn-in for this. Okay, that works out because I had no idea where the turn-in was for that quest. That works out completely. Ah, Pamela! I asked everyone to join us. Ryza, if you would. Yep, well, this is it. This is the clue that was waiting to be found in the original hidden in the big tree. So, where do we go next? I think I know. It's a set of ruins in the forest beyond the canyon. Wow, really? Then that should be easy, right? Let's get going. Hold on, danger lurks around every corner in the ruins. Just calm down and make the proper preparations. You did good on this, Ryza. Let's call it a day for now. Pamela didn't say anything! She was just here to smile. Okay, good. I was going to say, you're not going to let me talk to my wife? Come on. So we finally found our way to the treasure. I wonder what we'll find. I'm not sure it's going to be anything cute. I don't mind if it's not cute. Huh? You don't? No, thinking about it, I'd be happy with something I can use for my pudding too. Something for your pudding? Mixing my pudding is really hard work, so I wouldn't mind if it's an extra item that can do that for me. I'm not sure something like that even exists. But thinking about it's just so fun. Anyway, I have to make my next batch of pudding, so I'll be going now. I was going to say, does Ryza actually know that Pamela's a ghost yet? That was never confirmed in Ryza 1, but I've yet to see a scene in Ryza 2 where that's been addressed. I know there was one bit where Ryza went, how did she get everywhere so suddenly? It's almost like she's a ghost. And then they kind of left it on that, like she didn't figure it out. But I'm like, I wonder when she will. I wonder if that's going to be in Ryza 3. That she Pam's like, you're old enough to understand now. I'm dead. Totally forgot that Pamela came here from making her pudding famous. Sometimes I wonder what she must be thinking about. Apparently it's just pudding. Yeah, she's like related to Nep. All she ever thinks about is pudding. Alright, I'm gonna stand next to Romy for a moment, and I'm gonna go get some water. I'll be back in just a minute. There, I am back. Bit more refilled, bit more restored. Still have no idea how I get more Rommies. It's probably like gonna just like give certain amount of resources and eventually just like, oh, you did this for me? That's great. And then that's it. Which we feel I probably should give her stuff anyway because I have... We're running out of space. I have to burn stuff eventually. Oh, black muck. Ugh. I need to get rid of stuff I know I'm never using. And for the record, although I have some ideas for some of the games I'll play, like after this is finished, before Ryza 3 comes out, I haven't made every decision, so there is going to be some degree of winging it. So, and also, I'm not going to start another JRPG that will bleed into Ryza 3 kind of thing, you know? I don't want that to happen. If I was going to start an RPG, it'd be something that I know I could have done before it's out. That's something I could have done in a month. And even though I probably could, regardless of what one I start, I don't want to take that risk. I mean, we've got Dangan 2. That's the main one that's going to be burning through, because that'll take a while. We've got SpongeBob on the 31st, I'm super excited for. For a second, I read that as... No, I didn't... In the bottom right, I didn't read that as Torchgrass. I read that as Touchgrass. I was like, you fucking what? Although did the game just fucking... Just tell me to go touch grass? My dyslexia really kicked in hard to insult me then for a second. And the SpongeBob will be fun. I imagine it'll only be like a stream or two. Because even if it's like a new game and whatnot, I have an understanding of the fundamentals because I literally grew up with Battle for Bikini Bottom, for goodness sake. It'll just be a new BFBB-esque adventure. And I'll get to compare it to afterwards. Well, I hope it's good. I know some characters aren't going to be in it compared to BFBB because ultimately their voice actors aren't alive. But still. Like, there's going to be no Mermaid Man or Barnacle Boy, which is a crime because the Merma layer is like my favourite level in BFBB. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, like the voice actors are dead, so they don't want to like replace the voices or anything like that. What the heck is this? Sure. So we get something new out of it. I'm kind of in the mindset, if I give Romy a bunch of stuff, maybe it will trigger something. I could just hold X and hold up. Oh, you can't do it in this menu down. It's only on dispose it lets you do that. Interesting. When you're disposing, you can just hold and go along and it'll do it. You can buy an Arkansas? You can buy Angel Silk? What the f... They're gonna be expensive as all hell, but wow! That's an amazing thing. I'm actually gonna sell something and be like, hey, you can now buy a Philosopher's Stone. Be like, what? Alright, we solved our Grand Organ problem. We still can't make our own, so they're not gonna be good quality, but at least we can at least buy one. We have to reset the shop first, but at least we can buy them. Oh, look at how much of this shit we have. We don't need all this. Look at this. We don't need this much item ore. That'll do. Are we satisfied? Oh, I think we are. Amazing Ryza. Hang on. I think that is what we need to do. We just need to give, like, Romy 10 ton of shit. And eventually she's like, oh, awesome. Oh, your alchemy is really amazing, Ryza. Color me impressed. You really think so? Sure, for example, I can't believe the variety of things you can make. Normally I need to go to different suppliers or manufacturers depending on what I need to stock. But with you, that's not a problem. When I say I need something, you find a way to make it, no matter what it is. As a merchant, I just want you to know that that's really quite incredible. Well, thank you. Now, your only weakness is that you can't mass-produce your goods. I don't want you to feel like I'm pushing you, but have you ever thought about taking on any apprentices? I've been being an alchemist for 4 years. It's too early for me to do something like that. Yeah, it's like, Ryza, you say that like Sophie didn't like get a underclassman after 5 years. You say like Sophie got Theorist as like a student after 5 years. It's not that impossible of a thought. I see. So it'll still be a while before we get a mass market of the Made by Ryza product line. Well, I'll do my best to keep making as much as I can, so hopefully that's enough for now. Oh, still not enough yet. But I am going to go sleep tonight to reset the shop so we can buy some grand organs so we can maybe then use the... I think it was the driller we can now be able to make. I think that was what needed, a grand organ. So I'm not that fast about making better equipment yet because I'd rather wait until we can make our own. And I can make it good. Were you the one that's... No, you're the fish one. Is it you that sells ores? No, who... Is it you? Or do I have to go to the Artisan district? I might have to go to Artisan. There's your enemy loot. Your branches and leaves. We know it's not you, you're fish. You're probably plants looking at your wares. Yeah, plant-based things. Alright, Artisan District we're going. I don't know why I went to Lilla to buy stuff. Ooh, a grandfather clock. I don't know why they call it a pendulum clock, but sure. Now, well, there's the Kaiser cape we can now buy. What's morale boost? It increases max health. If HP of party members below a certain level, it increases their stats as well. That's not too bad. That's kind of cool. Just straight up some specs. Cool. Dragonic heart. Got all these armor pieces. It's probably going to actually be in the blacksmiths. Let's just cut out the middleman. Dennis, I need to buy something from you that I can then use to make something for you. How'd I know? The fucking being able to buy an Arcasol, sure. I mean, I'm burning money, but it's money we could do with. Oh, hang on. I was saying, no, you can't. I was gonna say, is there anything we have that you can... Oh, you can enforce my armor. Dude, jeez. Hang on. Because we really need more defense. Oh boy. We really need the boost. Oh, whoops. You. Nearly, I need to click HP charge. No, we don't need more health. I could have got rid of quality boost, but that's fine. Alright, back to Atelier. Oh, this is awful quality. Yeah, we're definitely going to make our own before I start using it for equipment. But at least we know there's some we can buy now. Alright, let's get this so we can start finishing Dennis' storyline. There you are, like the longest lingering. We've had this recipe forever. These tools you made are incredible, Ryza. My normal tools couldn't even scratch it, but now I can shape it however I want. How come he's pretty great, huh? Yeah, I'm really impressed. I feel like I might actually finish this time now. Really sorry for all the trouble I caused you, though. Seriously, it's been no trouble at all. Said I'd support you, right? Good luck on the rest. We're something incredible and earn that victory. Alright, and then we'll have to... Oh, it's been so long since this menu's been all clear, with no, like, faces and stuff. Like, we haven't had any quests to worry about. It's been an eternity. So I need something that will, like, boost everything by a decent amount if I stand a chance at trying to get 100, 100, 100. As they begin, so we get the next quest unlocked, because it always seems to be 2 days. I understand the fundamentals of this game. Yep, there it is. I understand how this game works. Oh, Ryza, I'm glad you're here. What's going on, Dennis? They just announced the results of the contest, so I wanted to tell you about it. Oh, so how'd it go? Did you win? Well, no. I was hoping to win, but this is harder to say than I expected. Did you not place at all? Even that would have been okay. My entry was disqualified. What? That's even worse than just losing. What happened? Well, it turns out the medal was no good. Why? Just because it didn't actually have a name, or? Yeah, there was more. That there was no way to prove it was actually metal, I guess. Huh? No way to... Right. There's no way of telling if it really was metal. It might look and feel like metal, but since it's an unknown substance, there's no way to know for sure. Even if they could verify it, it felt like it was too rare to be used. Not to mention, I only found it by accident, so there isn't an actual way to verify it. The judges didn't have any idea how to judge it, so they decided to disqualify me instead. Oh. After all our hard work. Oh, that Ryza! Honestly, never thought I'd get disqualified for it. Yeah, pull yourself up, Ryza. Oh, I'm so sorry, Dennis. I know expecting a win was too much, but I'm pretty shocked at how it all turned out. Still, they said that work itself was wonderful, so my entry became to talk to the whole competition. Also, I want to point out, the amount of lower body strength Ryza has to drop to her knees without using her hands, without just, slamming her knees into the ground to make it one elegant motion, that's a lot of lower body strength. Like, those thick thighs aren't just for show. I mean, I can be happy with that for now. And you have another chance to win next time. Yeah, I'm gonna win next time for sure. Trophy unlocked will win next time. So now it's literally just Romy being a little madam and not like joining. Oh wait a minute, and a minute. What's going on over here? Is this quest going to be saving Rook from something else? Oh no, this is the bandit quest. So there are ruins you're talking about. Wow. See within the forest, and we're looking for a big tree. This has to be the place. Finally, the treasure we've been searching for is within our grasp. It's been so long. It's been nothing but years of poverty since I joined up. Are we finally going to make some money? Adventures are so much fun. Have you ever been inside the ruins, Ryza? I have, but for unrelated reasons. It's really dangerous in there, so everyone be careful. Wow, that sounds like so much fun. Alright, everyone okay? Delaria bandits, move out. A voice calls out. Where is that? Okay. I took a shout. Yeah, no worries, dude. To finish Romy's character quest, do you have to like keep on just turning more shit into her? Because she's the only character now that we haven't finished the story arc for. Oh, and the bandits, obviously, because we're doing that now. Like her event isn't triggering, which makes me think that like we need to do something. It's been years. It's been years. This game's only been out for 2 years. I told you about Boss. Yeah, I said Boss has grown on me a lot. I really like him. My favorite girls is like a tie between Seri and Patricia, honestly, because I don't like they like them both for very different reasons. But best boy, it's like Tao and Boss. Tao because his growth between games and the journey he goes on in this game is really nice and enjoyable. It's more just how he bounces off other characters, but Boss because he's such a great character on his own. Like, he stands firm as a really strong character now. I still stand by the fact that the best thing they ever did for Boss was get rid of Lumber, but that's besides the point. I mean, the Ryza's scroll, our objective is just up ahead. Yeah, it should be. Well, when it comes to battle, monsters aren't really our specialty, so we'll secure this area. I hate to ask, Ryza, but can you take out that monster blocking our way? Sure thing. Thanks a bunch. And Ryza just runs like an employee she is. But what does she mean? Monsters aren't her specialty in battles. I'll tend to be wrong. Alright, what level are you? Oh, you! It's you again! The pet I want! And I'm not going to make the same mistake I made last time. Last time we went and fought... Actually, I don't know if it's this battle theme. Yeah. I don't know if it's this battle theme or not. I don't recognize it enough. There was a battle theme in yesterday's stream where it was kind of cozy and slow paced and like doing its thing, and literally just as I landed the killing blow, like this heavy metal guitar ripped, and I was so gutted because it was literally as I hit the killing blow, you heard it go down it, and then it fade out. I was like, no! And I don't know if it's this track or not, so I kind of want to hear it. Like, it was like a minute 40 in ish. We'll see. If we get close to killing it, we'll know. Actually, what level is this thing? I should actually check. 65. Okay, so it's gonna be a little bit of a monster. Oh, we're actually gonna kill this thing kind of quick. We need to pay attention. I don't know if it's this track or not. Oh, what did I activate? I'm literally playing as a... Someone else would have done something that triggered her event. Is this the track? Oh, okay, see, it rips. Listen, when, yesterday we fought a boss that played this theme, and literally it died the very second that bit ripped. So it literally went down, and then went, and I was like, no! I was like, where was it going? What was it about to do? You know? Oh, so it's gonna just run again, isn't it? Yep. Oh, we can hit level 70? Oh, almost everyone hit level 70. That sounds crazy to say out loud in an Atelier game. Level 70. Yo, I killed the thing. All of you just stood here? All of you just stood here. You didn't even try and do anything. Okay. I kind of wonder what level I'll be when I get to the final boss. I'm kind of worried we're going to have the same thing that happened in Ryza 1, where we get to the final boss, and I just destroy it. Because that was what happened in Ryza 1. We got to the final boss in Ryza 1, and I just kind of fucking killed it. Like, it was in a fight. And I'm kind of worried it's going to be the same deal in this game, because it does feel like we're very powerful. And we haven't even got, like, the best equipment we can get yet. Okay, Dehya, I took down that monster blocking the way. Thanks, Ryza, you're the best. Now, according to the scroll, there should be an altar up ahead. And beyond that, the treasure. I get nervous. Oh, now my stomach's starting to hurt. Oh my, are you okay, Zayak? I'll be fine. You seem to be doing okay, Pamela. Oh yes, I'm very excited. How come monsters never seem to attack Pamela? It's because she's dead. Yes, why does it always have to be us? Come on, people, stop the complaining. Yes, ma'am. Is Ryza gonna be like, actually, yeah, why is it? It's true, though. Pamela never seems to have to fight. The time has come. Huh? Clifford, where's your mask? Did you take it down and I just missed the cutscene? We had this happen earlier. Where's your mask? Is it just that he said, no, like, he's more confident in himself, he lowered the mask or some shit? Where is it? Clifford, where'd you come from? The opportunity presented itself, so I thought it was time I joined in. I see. Continuing on? Okay, just into the next zone. Whee! I thought it was a glitch earlier, but maybe it's deliberate since we're at this point in the story. Actually, has he got his mask on in this screen? Oh, he still has his mask on in this screen! Look, there he is! Oh, I like that you can see the whole outline of, like, the character model behind the others like that. Oh, I didn't even realize Lent has his hands on those two shoulders, like, stretched out in the back. That's kind of cool. Oh, all the way over there. Alright, on the bet. Oh, I'm trying to think what was the best route to get there again. I'm so glad that this game brought mounts back. Even if it's only this one, I'm still glad they brought it back. Because it was like genuinely my favourite thing in Fierce was like the vehicles and mounts. It was the one thing I was genuinely gutted didn't come back after I finished Fierce. Because Lydia and Sudi had no mounts. I know the areas as a whole were kind of smaller, so there was less need for them, but it's like, ah, it would have been nice. And it's almost entirely just because I loved how insane, ridiculously fast you got in Furious on that witch's broom. It was stupid how fucking quick you were on that thing. You just took off like Sonic the Hedgehog. It was insane. Anyway, this altar should be around here somewhere, right? Pamela, where are you going? I don't see anything that looks like an altar. And tell me that scroll was wrong. I don't think so. Let me have a look. Then you got the right location. There should be more clues scattered around the area. If that's the case, how about this? It's so weird seeing him not have the mask. It's throwing me off. I'm like, put the mask back on. Zayek, what's that? Oh, I found it laying on the ground. It seemed more like some, more than just some ordinary stone. It's got some pattern on it. Let's split up and look for more of these. It's really old. Could they be scattered pretty far? Better keep my eyes peeled. Why would we get a blacksmith statue? Why did we get Haggle's statue? Are you guys even looking? Like Pam's... Hey Pam, how are you doing? There's something really suspicious. Did you find anything, Ryza? But yeah, you just don't have the mask on anymore. It's so weird. I wonder if Clifford's going to be in Ryza 3. He seems like one of those like almost oddball characters that's just in this one and never seen again. Sort of like, oh, I don't know, half of Fierce's extra cast members. They just kind of vanished after that. Delaria, I found more fragments. Great. What about everyone else? They're chipped here and there, but if you put them all together, they seem to form a disc. So now what? Maybe. Everyone, could you come over here? I noticed this circular indentation earlier. How's this? Nothing's happening! Maybe we need more pieces. But the only missing parts are tiny bit eroded bits. We have to pick up every little powdered piece. Enough! Anyway, if we fit it neatly, the treasure chest should come out of some hole, right? In that case... should we just dig it up? Exactly. Wait, that's way too easy. It's decided. Come on, everyone, get digging. There it is. Knew it was worth a try. That's amazing. Let's find out what's inside. It's gonna open it. It's gonna be opening it, still be a note saying if you dug this up, you cheated. This is... it's just a bunch of gold coins. Woohoo! An entire chest full of money. Got a haul of some random treasure chest. Sure there isn't anything else in there, Ryza? Doesn't look like it, sorry. Aw, that's too bad. Let's just collect it and head home. Yes, we shouldn't linger any too longer. Grab what you can and we can finish this outside. Couldn't have found that chest without alchemy. Maybe whoever wrote that book was an alchemist. Considering it was filled with gold coins, maybe they found a way to make gold using alchemy. Hey, Ryza, come on. Oh, okay, coming. And that's it, so back we go. Hey, Delaria. No meeting today? Nope, we handed out the money, and now we're on our little break. Zayak even opened that shop of his. You handed over the money? Yes, I traded the gold coins and gave the proceeds to the folks in the farming and artisan districts. But did you buy anything for yourself? Oh, well, I gave away my entire share, so no. Huh? Are you okay with that? It's fine, Delaria bandits are here to lend others a helping hand. That's what we're all about. Delaria, you really need to change the name to something other than bandits and people will understand you're actually trying to help people. Although I wouldn't mind having a little bit of money. Hello, you two. Oh, hello, Pamela, with your goat. Oh, Pamela and Mr. Goat. I'm handing out pudding again. Meh. I think I remember you mentioning something about that. But what's the deal with this pudding of yours? You'll understand when you have a taste. Go right ahead. Okay. This is... I've never had a dessert so sweet and delicious. Why are you giving this away for free? I just want to show the entire world how delicious pudding can be. Even though everyone loves it as soon as they try it, most people don't seem to care much about pudding. I'm not sure how many people would be into it. Personally, I think a salty pudding would be popular. Salty? Sure, people always crave salty food after sweating their way through a hard day's work. I see. What do you think, Ryza? You're asking me? Of course, I heard you were an important part of creating the original pudding. I mean, yeah. Was I? Oh, and then you're going to make a new pudding for us, Ryza. Are we waiting for the results, Ryza? There. Well, we just put that on her without warning. How did that end up in my lap all of a sudden? But, salty pudding. Just by using salt by itself is kind of predictable. Taste aside, it needs to have a visually striking. What do people imagine when they think of salt? The ocean? Fishing? That's it, fish! Oh, add fish to the pudding. Oh my god, Ryza, you're trying to poison them? I'm gonna add fish to it. I know exactly what fish I'm gonna add. I'm gonna add puffer fish. What? That would be like Ryza's biggest mistake. Sarding. Oh, is it gonna be pudding with sardines? Oh, it is. Oh. Oh no. Wait. What the fuck's this quality? Use that one. It's like, what the hell's that one? Where? Oh, there you are. So I was like, where are you? Hey! Ryza, you seem excited. Did you finish the pudding? Yeah, this is it. There? This is... I figured just adding salt wouldn't reveal its true essence, so I added a little something extra. I can already tell what that something extra is. Well, I guess we should give it a try. It's delicious! It's a lot better than I expected. What? Yes, the smooth fish oil and creamy pudding really go hand in hand, do they? Kinda strange, but I'd happily introduce this to all my bandit buddies. Would you? There. Why? I'm so glad. Okay, let's add this pudding to our business portfolio for the Delaria bandits. You made it? Oh, how wonderful! We have to make sure not to expand our operations too quickly. That's a good point. Rui knows better than anyone that profits in the bandit business have been down the last few years. We need to find a way to increase our profits so we can help the poor. Yeah, Drew. Why don't we try selling Ryza's creations to the working class? And Pamela can sell to the upper. That could lead to huge profits. Ooh. There. Sure, lots of people will get to try it out that way. Oh, I can't wait. Okay, so it's decided. Let's get to work on putting production. Yes, ma'am. Rui, Zag, come on. And now, like, Ryza should just go, Pamela, are you a ghost? Selling pudding is certainly much more constructive than selling other people's stuff. I just hope they decide not to keep their bandit name once they start trying to sell it. Anyway, Pamela got another step closer to her goal. Everything seems to be going well. Oh, we still don't ask. Alright, Alright, just straight up mostly. We can actually go do the rest of this. I get to listen to this great track again. Or go the wrong way completely, god dang it. Do you have to go all the way over here and up? Like, this map is not convoluted, but annoying. Because there's so many like dead ends, but the map doesn't show that. As a genuine, in Ryza 3, have shading on the minimap. That's all they need to do. Have shadings that give away altitude. So you can see if there's like a random sharp dead end with nothing on it. So I don't end up going the wrong way and running into dead ends and wasting time. Or running to enemies. I guess that's on me. Miss, what the fuck? What do you mean, miss? Hey. I wonder what the actual castle would look like when we're in there, since that's what we're approaching. See if there's anything of interest. The only item of interest we found in the castle are those Dunkelheits. Because now we actually have a home for the Dunkelheits, we actually know where they are. Alright, let's see if this works. Right, this is like, okay, I've got a plan to do with the fire. Okay, what is it? I'm gonna make it way bigger? What? No, stop it! No, no, hear me out. And then toss this into the fire vortex. That's not a toss. Okay, yeah, I would back up too. Did it work? I wonder if something like that can actually have some kind of effect. Oh, Jesus Christ, Ryza, what have you done? Ah! This is the fire! Ah! Pee! Oh, now that's a big flame. Are you sure this is safe? In theory. In theory? It seems to have extinguished itself. And everyone takes a breather. It's like, Ryza, maybe next time you gotta do something like that, give us a better warning. That initial reaction was pretty damn scary. Monsters I can deal with, not stuff like this. Yeah, you can deal with monsters, you can't deal with actual fucking fire. You can't just swing your sword at fire and hope it goes away. But actually, alchemy really is incredible. You can make something like this. No wonder if there wasn't a more delicate way of handling this, though. Oh, come on, I put the fire out, so what's the problem? She's like, come on, I'm a genius, praise me. Got a little bigger than I was expecting in the beginning, but that's all. The method was exactly what I saw in that memory. I see. Well, I guess you did have your reasons for doing it that way. Either way, now's our chance to move forward. Who knows when the flames might start up again? So let's go right in so they start behind us and trap us inside. Right, let's get a move on. Oh, it's just a crystal cave. Wow. I never imagined there could be a place like this here. It's like a tunnel, but not exactly. It's more like a natural cave, I guess. Maybe it's because there are so many untouched places, and because the bedrock's like this. Do you think people lived here in the past as well?
Likely. This place looks like a good shelter from the elements. So even if it wasn't a mine, there could have been many people there.
Seems like all these crystals are fairy stones. You're right. I'm sure it will cause an uproar if we bring this many fairy stones out. But their quality is extremely low. I don't quite remember seeing fairy stones with this many impurities before. Really? Indeed, fairy stones are like gemstones, small in size, but nearly impervious to other elements. But here it's the opposite. I wonder what could have I wonder if it could also be an effect of that big earthquake that happened here. We should exercise extra caution moving forward. What are we looking at? Okay. There is a lot of rope points here. It's slightly concerning. I hope none of them are red warps, otherwise our journey's going to end. Oh, okay, I was gonna say, can we go off the edge? No, that is death. Something's been bothering me ever since we arrived here. What is it, Seri? I'm sure now, all things in this area are things that can be found in my homeworld. Are you saying there's underworld crystals in here? That'd be nice. Wait, that means everything here comes to a place you call the underworld. So this might not be underworld, this might be Clint Kingdom influence. When they stole shit from the underworld. You sure? This place is connected to the underworld somehow? You're right. Sorry, I've got my cat sleeping next to me. And I'm guessing, like, Shugs, the younger of the two, is the one that's, like, most leaning against me. I just felt, like, a lot of little twitching in me, but she's, like, completely asleep, so she's just having her dreams. And it was just like, I could just feel this little kicking into my side, and I was just like, what's going on? Because although it's not raining anymore, it's super fucking cold. And the back door to, like, to go outside, to, like, the patio and garden and whatnot, was, like nearly frozen shut. When I went to like check it this morning, so I was like, okay, yeah, the cat's not going to go out much. So it's connected to the underworld somehow.
The underworld? I've only ever heard stories about it.
But it really does exist.
Wait, are you saying there might be a gate around here?
You haven't seen anything that looks like a gate, though. No, I don't sense any connection between the two worlds here. But I'm absolutely certain that the plants here are from my world. So does that mean... It's not like I know a lot about the underworld, but it doesn't feel like anything we've dealt with before. Hint, hint, there might be a super boss in here. This place really is connected to the underworld. We need to be extra careful moving forward. There's going to be a super boss down here. I'm willing to bet. That's what they're implying. And that super boss is going to be like way too much for us to handle right now. I'm only interested if there's like something new. That's why I'm like checking but not picking anything up. The flames are spreading. It's only a matter of time until the entire mountain's on fire. The mountain is doomed. Forget everything and run. Ah, sure. Where do I want to go from here? I'm not planning on going this way, or this way around. I more just want to, like, glance down the way. A lunar drop. Ooh. But it looks like, yeah, we can go the other way and drop in, so we're fine. Oh, we're entering a dark space. It's like, oh no, is that lantern on her butt? Are any lanterns to light up? No, it's just... Oh, thank goodness. Ooh. Ooh, a landmark in the DLC area. The mountain hid no castle and no treasure. All we found was the fairy stone pendant. What are you going to do with it? It's no different from all the other junk that winds up in my shop, so I can't imagine it's much worth. Oh, I know. I'll give it to Marco. He loves stuff like this. And I'm surprised how well you and my brother are getting along. He started talking about becoming a treasure hunter lately. Now, who could have given him that idea? Okay, the average level's 58. With it being a DLC area, like, I almost don't trust the game to not just suddenly, like, make us go to a new area and, like, all the enemies are, like, 20 levels stronger. But it looks like they do actually expect you to be able to get through it throughout the course of the game, sort of thing, which if that's the case, that's brilliant. We don't get what we got in Ryza 1, where, like, the very, very last area of the DLC I just couldn't access because you have to fight, like, a level 100 variant of all the elements, and it was just, I couldn't be bothered to do the grind, just to access one extra area. But that was then, and this is now. Okay, doesn't seem to be anything else of interest. Let's get out of the darkness. Anything new? I mean, we could do with more leaves and crystals, which is the two things we got. What the hell was that? I'm not going insane, am I? Something just whispered in my ear. Oh, it's fucking you! It's him whispering. It's Clifford, stop talking. That really made me jump a mile because I thought something was like whispering in my ear. I thought someone was in the room with me. I was like, what the fuck? Who? Huh? I thought it was like an intruder in my house. Fucking Clifford. It genuinely made me like jump. I thought someone was. I genuinely thought I had an intruder for a second. That whisper. It's just fucking that prick. I wonder if I write for an audience of one. What do you mean? Take this medicine with you. It's an elixir made of the local flowers that is good for all kinds of ailments. Thank you. I wish there was some way I could repay you. I made that medicine to help people. Hey, am I whispering in your ear? Yeah, that's how it felt. I'm happy to give it to you freely, or I ask that you keep the origin a secret. This cold flower came here with the mana from another world. It's already gone extinct here. I want it to keep growing safely here, unknown to people. It's like when sometimes you play a game and you hear, like, there's a character like knocks on a door from the background and, like, you impulsively take your headphones off because you think someone's knocked on your door. I get super engrossed in what I write. It's okay if you're only writing for you. Because otherwise, like, your passion's got to come from somewhere, you know? Otherwise, what's the point if you're not at least doing it for you? Into another dark space instead. Ooh. The mana drift. Oh, I was like, please let us break these purple crystals and it be something of interest. Where's the... There it is. I lost the exit. It's too dark. It's too dank. Oh, it's here. I was like, where? How are we getting across this? I've always struggled to see perspective of others, so I'm always concerned about it. I think when you're writing, it's like one of the few things... Well, it's like, I think any kind of art form, whether it's writing, drawing, anything, your first audience should always be you, because if you're not enjoying it, it will show in your work. And then if other people like it or don't like it, that's on them afterwards, you know? The only thing is knowing the difference when people do like or not like it. It's being able to spot the difference between them just not liking it and them being like, okay, this little bit, maybe if you did this, it could be like knowing when to take criticism and when to just be like, yeah, they don't like it, so I'm not gonna... it's just not for them, you know? Knowing when it's criticism and when it's just they don't like it. And knowing what criticism to take in and what not to. Never imagined there'd be an Earthbound dragon here, and I'm definitely not one, so... Like, to give an example... my mum is never going to be the test audience for my books because she doesn't like character-driven books that much. She likes more story-driven. Like, she wants the characters to just be like the tools and the story be the main thing. She's not that interested in character-written narratives, whilst I only write character-written narratives. Like, there's still a story and it's still moving on, but the characters are the most important thing. And so, like, my mum is not my test audience, so I know if I give it to her, she won't like it. She won't enjoy it that much. Sure, the only criticism I'll get back is, oh, there should be more leaning on this part of the story, and I'll be like, well, you know? Whilst my sister, being a, you know, qualified scriptwriter with a university degree to match it, she will have a much more neutral of an opinion on it, because she can put herself in that position of being more neutral, and give more genuine feedback. I never imagined there would be an Earthbound dragon here. I try to strike a balance, and that's fair. It's hard to do. Well, from one writer to the other, it's hard to do. I prefer leaning on the characters slightly. Obviously, there's a narrative and there's a story and things are moving. I just prefer to lean on the characters a little bit. I want them to grow and them to develop and them to have their story. Not one for so big. They expected to fall with a single arrow. What do you think? Is it gone now? Maybe it got scared and ran off. Hey, over there. It's not... Oh, there's another guy over there. It's not over yet. Behind you. Symbiotic relationship between the two facets. Absolutely, I agree. It's just how much you lean on one or the other if you try and keep it equal. For me, it's not that it's like, you know, all character and no story. It's like a 65 to 35 balance. Like, it is more character dominant, but there's still an important story and things happening.
What was that?
It appeared to be an earthquake, at least. Yeah, sounds more like a living creature. You know, I'm getting a real bad feeling about this. Oh, it's okay, Tal. Just pretend to be I go 60-40. Yeah. So it's okay, Tal. You need to be like have like a confident facade, though. You got to keep on impressing Patricia. Oh, Jesus Christ! Here we go. Oh, at least it looks cool. Even it's just a recolor from a boss we fought before. It's a DLC area, so I'll let it slide. Oh, I knew it! A monster, and a big one at that. It depends on the 60 characters. The story depends on the book, alright? Yeah. Fee! Oh, that's the other thing, Ryza 3, and I'm going to be watching it like a hawk after Sophie 2. I don't mind maybe 1 or 2 reuses of a boss, but I swear to Christ, if half the game's bosses is the same fucking boss, we're going to have issues. After Sophie 2, where usually, you know, over half the game's bosses was the same boss. We're gonna have issues. The monster does look excited to anyone else.
It's coming right at us.
Of course it does. Everyone get ready. Okay, nice little sound effects for everyone. The ching ding. Oh, we get to play that track again. Alright, let's see what level this thing is. Let's see if it's actually a super boss or just a general area boss. Actually, I think that's kind of fair. 70. Can we mind we're level 70? I think that might be kind of fair. We'll have to see how the fight goes. If we get rinsed... Let's see if we're feeling serious. I mean, like, yeah, the character writing... Although I think there are some highlighting characters in this game that are better written than, like individual characters in Mysterious, I think Mysterious's average character quality is better than Secret's average character quality, if that makes sense. But then once again, and I've said it before, and I'll come back to it, I'm saving like some of my final judgments till Ryza 3, because there were some characters that I really came around to in Lily and Sully, and only because of Lily and Sully. And its bosses. Oh no, this game's been alright with bosses. We've only had a couple repeats. It said, if anything, that's something in favour of Secret, because Mysterious 4 repeated the same fucking bosses so goddamn often. Sophie 2 annoyed me with how, like, consistently, like, weak its bosses were as a whole. I'll say that Lily and Sully... Ow, 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 okay. Lily and Sully, do I actually have a resurrection item? I have it on the person who's down, don't I? Claudia's the one that's got the nectar, doesn't she? Oh, shit. Alright. Like an individual boss is superior. Yeah, the one when they nailed it, like when they actually had it together, they were great. Yeah, the person who has the nectar, god. Am because I never got Luard. Yeah, Luard was a great final boss. But you know what made Luard really fun? It wasn't just the fact you fought Luard, it's that partway through the fight, he suddenly, just without warning, went, hey, I'm going to summon a whole other boss, here you go. And you're like, what? Hey, on a minute. Can I swap? Yeah, I was going to say, can I swap and get her in? Even though she's not as good, it's at least then another member. So I haven't like gone out of my way to like super upgrade Patricia in the same way I have the other ones just yet. I need to though, because she's a great member of the party. Okay, we need to make sure that doesn't land. Go on, Virgil. There we go. Okay, didn't do much damage. Oh, it did enough. Okay. That other boss is stronger than the word. Oh, great. I still need to go back and do that. Once I've done this, because you know I'll be having a month away from the Atelier series, I will go back and start like looking at some of the other games and see what ones are worth streaming an attempt, what ones are just worth doing a manual recording. Yada yada. And I think it'll also be interesting going back to Sophie 1 and just ripping my hair out when I see how bad all my build is, because you know of how much I've learned about the series going through it and what to prioritize. Like my build will probably be way better when I eventually go back and mess with it. Because it did feel like I kind of got through on breadcrumbs in Sophie 1. Sophie 2 will be your biggest hurdle? Yeah, final boss on very hard. I'm not looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to that at all. If I can carry everything over into NG+, honestly, I might, like, max out, make good god tier equipment I've got, and then just go through NG+, and then do the boss that way. Because then I'll get more resources going through the game again anyway to try and build up to it. But I am trait grinds, ugh. But that's, I'll figure that out when I get to it. That'll be a while off yet, to begin with, because, you know, Furious is going to be the real grind. Because I literally do have to go through the game again just to, and then do a good run, but also acknowledging the time limit, to, make sure I'm ready for the Sophie fight and actually stand a chance against her. And I also need to just, you know, do better at that exam. Because, like, Archer enough, I felt like I always, like, only did just okay at the exam. Like, every time I tried it, I was like, I feel like I got more things wrong than right, and the game just gave me a freebie. I was forced to. Did that do it? On Liddy and Suli, I do have to do another playthrough for that as well, but only for the normal ending, so I can literally speedrun that. I can put the game on, like, easy and just race through it. Because if you're level 50 and Alchemy level 50, the only ending you can't get is the normal one. Which is crazy, because I always think if you say that with Devil May Cry 5, Nero is the reason I kept coming back in DMC 5. Because I genuinely found him really fun what they did. Once you understand the nature of his kit, and just kind of get let loose with all of his pieces, he's so fucking fun to me. When I eventually do DMC 5, which I might do as a one-off, like in between this and Ryza 3, I'm undecided. I'm gonna fuck with Nero again because I really enjoy him. Virgil's still my favorite, but like for me it's like Virgil, Nero, Dante, and then V is like not at the bottom. He's like just somewhere else because I just didn't enjoy him at all. Seems that way. But I understand that's the whole point with Devil May Cry. Every character plays different. They are entirely their own different beasts, so there is going to be a character you don't like and one that you do potentially. Because they're different. They're supposed to be different. You're supposed to like enjoy them in different ways. And Royal Guard. Yeah, he doesn't, but he also has a really strong, consistent moveset that allows you to go absolutely crazy with combos. And 7 different swords is kind of overplaying it, considering 2 of them are exactly the same down to the hitbox. They just have sprite difference, and they just lost 2 moves that they used to have in DMC4 just to make Sparda seem better. And Royal Guard. Rebellion and Sparda have the exact same hitbox. There's nothing different between those 2 swords. They're just visually different. They don't have any new skills. It's Dante, the sword Dante, that has drive, which Rebellion used to have drive, but they got rid of it to make Sparda seem more interesting. It's the floating swords that come with Dante that make it really stand out. Sparda doesn't have DT. In DMC5, yeah, it does. Every weapon has Devil Trigger. It just uses Rebellion's Devil Trigger. In DMC1, it didn't. If you mean it doesn't have the Super DT, yeah, that's Dante. The Shin Devil Trigger. The only Devil May Cry game where equipping a certain weapon restricts your ability to use Devil Trigger is Devil May Cry 1. And that's it. That's not supposed to have DT at all. Yeah, but that's because Dante's Devil Trigger isn't powered by his weapon. It's powered by him. That was the continuity correction that DMC3 did. Because in DMC1, it was tied to the weapon only, but in DMC2, it was just inexplicably normal. To trade DT for extreme power. Yeah, in DMC1 it did. But in 3 onwards, they retconned and altered the lore to make it more consistent, so you could have Devil Trigger of everything. You can DT with Sparda. There's absolutely no difference other than visual in DMC5 between Sparda and Rebellion, which is why it's just a redundant sword. Yeah, I get that's the whole point, but that was DMC1. Even in DMC4, in DMC4 Special Edition, Trish's Sparda didn't drain energy. You know, it was just a different weapon when Trish used it. It took DT to turn Force Edge into Sparda. Yeah, it wasn't DT, it was the combination of the amulets that turned Force Edge into Sparda. It was the reuniting of the brothers that turned Force Edge into Sparda. It wasn't just demonic energy. It's why Sparda isn't in DMC3, because the brothers clearly weren't fucking united at that point. Anyway, I was not ready for such a sudden attack. Probably thought we were an easy snack. A snack? Beefy! This game's explanation was that it took demon energy. The first game, the cutscene literally shows the 2 amulets coming together, going into the Force Edge, and it turns into Sparda. I mean, yeah, the amulets contain demon energy as well, because they have demon blood in them. One has blood, the other has soul. Which is why they're red and blue. So yeah, you're on the right track, I'm saying, but it wasn't just Demon Blood, it was the amulets themselves. They were used as the keys to their power, because the power was literally split in half for the two twins to have. So no one else could have the power of Sparda without the brothers coming together. I don't remember it ever needing a constant outpouring, if I'm honest. I don't remember that bit, but that's me. I might just be misremembering that. Anyway, at some point, at some point I'm going to go through Devil May Cry's again on stream. I let's played them all forever ago, but I want to go through them all on stream because the game, they're all fun. I love them all, even the ugly stepchild that is DMC2. No justification why it didn't allow DT. No, you also couldn't do it with just plain Force Edge though in DMC1, so that logic still doesn't track. In DMC1, the only two weapons you could do it was Alistair, which gave you health regen and speed boost, and Ifrit, which just gave you more damage. You couldn't do it with just plain Force Edge. You could only do it with Alistair and Ifrit. Because they were the gimmicks. That was what Kamiya wanted with them, to make them the extra gimmicks with those weapons, to make them more justifiable. Sparda, you gave up your Devil Trigger because it was tied to Force Edge in a gameplay sense. And then in DMC2, every weapon had Devil Trigger, and it's been that way ever since. Then 3 and 2, yeah. I've Platinum 1 and 3. The only thing I haven't done in 2 is Bloody Palace. Not because I can't, but because I can't be bothered. I nearly Platinum 4. I've S-ranked every mission. I really couldn't be bothered to do Bloody Palace with Lady and Trish. And I couldn't be bothered to do the whole beat Dante no damage at the end of Bloody Palace. Because that's such... You waste an hour and a half to get one attempt. And it takes a single bullet to end that attempt. I'm like, fuck that. And get the 2 hate. Because it doesn't have any of the technical prowess that 1 had before it. It might have a decent story. It might have, like, all these other pieces you can defend and whatnot, but the simple reason it doesn't have jump cancelling, it's the only Devil May Cry to not, completely eliminates about 90% of your combo options. The fact that you can't lock enemies into the air... Oh, actually, no, you can lock them into the air in DMC2, just the boring way. Just hold down shoot, and every enemy becomes airborne for some reason. And the bosses sucked. And the fact that the tank is a regular enemy that has 2 full health bars was annoying. They're proficient. Devil May Cry 1 is a fucking playground if you know what you're doing. It is the reason why technical action games even are a thing. I mean, DMC3 reinvented the wheel and became popular, but DMC1, there's absolutely a lot more under the surface than you realise if you don't think it's proficient. It's aged, it's dated, but there is a hell of a lot under the surface in that game. It even has quick swap, and most people don't realise it because it's on a weird button. Crap 2. Yeah. In DMC2, absolutely. In DMC1, they're good as a fundamental. Because that's what they were. Like, I don't like Nightmare at all, especially on DMD. Fuck that fight. And Raven is a good fundamental because it teaches you how to use Ifrit properly, because you only get Ifrit before you fight it. No, I meant 1. Yeah, that's I don't agree with. And Phantom is the only thing that lets Phantom down is the arena. But then that makes up for it, because you get an open space to play with in DMC in this final fight. And then in there, the fight comes alive, because there's 3 different ways of killing it in that fight. Fighting it head on, jumping on its back, or making it crash through the center of the stage. Griffin breaks in 2 if you use Ifrit properly. If you figure out Ifrit's moveset, you literally rip that health bar apart, because that's the point. They expect you to use Ifrit for that fight. Most people just swap back to Alistair because range and speed. Shadowcat, that's not a boss though, that's an enemy. It's just an enemy that kills people, so people think it's a boss. Shadow's just an enemy. Shadow's just an enemy that will rip your head off. And Anilo Angelo is, fucking god tier. I love the Nilo fights. The third one is a little hard because, you know, the arena sucks, but this is, once again, it's portrayed as a difficult encounter, but it's still not a boss. It doesn't have a boss health bar. And even the very first encounter doesn't have any bigger health than normal. And even then, that thing's easy. You just shoot it. You shoot the son of a bitch until its core exposed, break the core, and then once it's broken you see it flash red, run for your fucking life. Or you can one-shot it, because Devil May Cry 1 had a fun technique where every single enemy in the game, every single one, has a little trick that if you know it will always guarantee a one-shot, even on DMD. And I love the fact that that little gimmick was in it, and every single enemy. If you know the trick, every single enemy can die in one hit. But every enemy has a different trick, and some of them require more out-of-the-box thinking. Like with the shadows, when they turn into a giant spear spike and shoot at you, jump. Don't roll, don't jump out of the way, just jump. If you land on the spike, a single bullet will kill them. If you're standing on the spike of the spear, a single shot will kill them, even from the ebony and ivory. All of the sin scissors, like all the floating ghost guys, it's parry shoot. And what I mean parry is because you don't have royal guard. It's them swing their sword as they swing their scissors, so they clash. And then when they're on the recoil, a single shot will kill them. Contrived? Well, yes, because they're not supposed to be easy to find. They're little techniques. They're techniques that if you know they're there, it's a free ticket to victory. But only if you can do it. They're not supposed to be easy, otherwise DMD would be a joke, because you could just one-shot everything. It's just a gimmick that you have to figure out. It's like a puzzle, and if you can solve the puzzle, you're rewarded with a free kill. And you know you've got it, because you don't only just get the one-shot, you immediately get an S rank. Because it's a literal built-in thing. Neptunia 1. Yeah. And then the final boss, it does that archaic age-old thing in DMZ 1 where the first phase completely throws a different gameplay mechanic at you, figure it out, bitch. And like that's the only thing that kind of hasn't aged well, because it's like that part sucks, especially on DMD. But then the second phase I thought was fine. It's a platforming challenge first of all, before you actually get to fight the boss. It's in the OG. Yeah, there's a lot of hidden, like, bullshit. I mean that in a good sense. Bullshit in a fun way, not bullshit as in, like, you know, it's just a lot of things. If you know it's there, and you know, like, the puzzle box of getting it, there's a lot of fun to be had. Whilst DMC 2 had literally none of that, didn't have any of the alternate weapon variety unlocking different movesets, didn't have any of the exploration that was in DMC 1, its story was very weak, it didn't have much of a sense of humour. The only thing that carried it was Lucia. I thought Lucia was genuinely really fun, but everything else is just unequivocally just worse. You literally just don't have features that were in 1, and that's the bottom line. Sliders are actually a lot better. And also you can adjust the sliders while paused in a boss battle. That's kind of cool. And then of course DMC3 is DMC3 and the rest is history. DMC3 just kind of, although it's got its own age problems here and there, it just kind of set the standard. Anyway, with that fire burning outside, there probably isn't much to hunt in the area. I'd rather not become a monster snack. That fish. Yeah, the fish fucking sucked. I'm saying that her gameplay, I enjoyed her gameplay. I enjoyed what they were going for with her. The fish boss, yeah, absolutely was a piece of shit. There's no denying in that. And ironically, the best character to play as was Trish, which, oh, by the way, just had DMC1's moveset but light. Crazy how she ended up being the best character because she's the only one who had a moveset based on a better game. Anyway, and the thing all the time on the road, just a reminder that we humans are not the strongest by any means. Are there more around? It doesn't look like it for now. Let's keep going. Make sure to stay alert. So about the size of Neptune, I just shake my head. It's not for my body, but it radically altered my perception of OG Neptunian mechanics. I want to go through OG Net 1 at some point. I've never actually, like, I'm aware of it, and I'm aware of some of the things it did, and, like, you know, the fact that every character had a gun in that game and whatnot, but I've never just sat down and, like, proper tried it out. Oh, okay, that's a terrible heal. We need to get better heals. For 1 HP and it was a what a thrill. Oh, I think I've told this story before, but I love where are we? We lost our place. My very first playthrough of Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, I, like an idiot, decided I wanted to go straight for the true ending on my first playthrough. If you've never experienced an SMT game, not a smart choice. Because it's very difficult and they expect you to have a lot of knowledge about the game, know how to do it. But I did it anyway. I got to the final boss, which if you're going for the true ending, you get a true final boss beyond the normal final fight, where you straight up fight Lucifer. I got to the fight with Lucifer, and we got the town, I had my strategy, we were working at it, I went through every single resource, I was completely out of magic points, I had used all my items, all of my reserve characters had been used and killed, and I couldn't revive them anymore because of out of SP. Every single character was dead. I was on 10 HP, so the next attack absolutely would kill me, even if it was just a basic flick. And so I had no SP, no nothing, no ability to use any skills, no backup. I was on my own. It was one hit. I just had to use a basic attack and cross my fingers that somehow it was enough to cross the threshold and kill it. Because SMT3 doesn't give you boss health bars, so you don't actually know how far along the boss you are. And it actually killed. It actually beat the boss. I remember that was my first playthrough, and I was like, oh my god! I was so ecstatic, and I wish, like, I had some way of recording it, but that was back on the PS2. And I had no idea that was going to happen, but I always, like, that was such a, like, my thrill moment. Because you were at that fight for a while. Lucifer has 66,666 health. Like, you're going to be at that fight for a bit. And the last hit, I did, like, 28 damage on the punch, and it was enough to just barely teeter it over the edge, and I was like, oh my god. And yet, when I did the Let's Play, I completely rinsed Lucifer because I have so much better understanding. When I got to that point, I really just kind of was in a comfort zone. Especially because in the remaster, they buffed Dante. Because, yeah, Dante's a crossover character in Nocturne. In the original, he never got Pierce, so he became worthless to the final boss. Because Pierce allows you to ignore enemy resistances. Like, if they resist fire, your fire attack will ignore it and will just do neutral damage. Lucifer resists absolutely everything, and the resistance is by 99%. So if you hit anything, if you hit it with anything and it's not got Pierce, you're doing 99% less damage. You're only getting 1% of the damage out of it. And Dante straight up couldn't get Pierce. He was the only thing in the whole game that couldn't get Pierce because of the nature of how he joins your party in the original game. So they corrected that in the remaster, so now there's nothing in the game that can't get Pierce if you try hard enough. And having Dante in the party for the final boss really turns that fight on its head a little bit, because now you've got two consistent physical attackers. Because you got you, because if you put points into magic in Nocturne, you're playing it wrong. Because magic's physical, it's not that magic's bad, it's that physical attack, if you channel into it, is so much stronger. Especially if you get Deadly Fury, or I forget what the beam attack's called that you get with Masakado. But if you get like the Masakado attack, and then you get like Power Charge, which makes it so your next physical attack does 2.5 times damage, you're not doing anything else. Because if you have Pierce, you're ignoring resistances as well. You're just Power Charging, Deadly Fury, or like the Masakado skill. Power Charging, same again. Power Charging, same again. And that's your main damage dealer. You just need to worry about your health, because both of those attacks, you spend your health instead of magic. So you can spend like 3/4 of your health doing one attack. So you could, if you do it out of a wrong opportunity, the boss might capitalize on that and kill you. But then Dante gets physical attacks for free, because he's Dante, so of course he does. Including some really good ones, including one that straight up has an invisible accuracy. And invisible accurate moves means they can't miss no matter what. Even if you lower their hit and evasion, it will never miss. So the fact that he has a physical attack that's invisible accuracy, it's like, no, that's set, you're done. And then you just have your other two just be magic for coverage and healing to keep everyone going. And then Lucifer starts to fall apart. But that said, if I ever live stream Nocturne, because I've got a Let's Play where I did it with Dante, I would do the live stream with Rydo. Because Rydo was when the licensing originally ended back in the PS2 era. They replaced Dante with a different character. They replaced him with Rydo. And Rydo is straight up harder to fight against, but is a better party member. He's stronger when you're on your side. So I think it would just be a fun, more difficult playthrough to do. Because, you know, I'm a masochist. And I like going through one of the hardest JRPGs ever made, and then making it harder. Dude, on my Let's Play, I was really proud of myself. I only game over twice. I was really proud of myself. I game over like 1,000,000 times on my blind playthrough, but I only died proper twice, and both of them were to bad luck. Like, both of them were... One of them was to a straight instant kill, one of them was to like an awfully timed critical hit on the enemy. Like, the enemy got an awfully timed crit on me, and it just put me into a horrendous danger zone that I couldn't get myself out of. And the other one was just a straight insta-kill that hit me, that I didn't have any resistance to, because I hadn't equipped anything, because I wasn't expecting a straight Mudo spell to come my way. So the fact that in the Let's Play I only suffered 2 game overs, I was like, I'll fucking take it. And both of them were like things that I could have avoided. Like, that's... Like, I was proud of myself for that one.
It's one big crystal.
Wait, this might look like the same one from the drawing in that book. The shape looks the same. Is it the same as the other crystals? It is. The size is obviously different, but it's exactly like the others around it. But I'm going to wait Because I'm curious to see if SMT4 is ever going to get ported off the 3DS, and if it is it just going to be Switch only, or is it going to come to consoles I own? Because if it's going to come to PlayStation, and we get SMT4, we get the goated SMT4, I'm going to go through that first, because it's been longer since I've gone through that compared to 3. Even if that's... even if that's going to be torture. Because like SMT3 is one of the hardest RPGs ever made. SMT4 straight up like is, in my opinion, the hardest RPG I've ever played. That game, if you're not prepared to knuckle down, it's not even a grinding problem, it's equipment, skills, and strategy. If you're not prepared to think like a chess player and think like several steps ahead at every turn, you will get overwhelmed and killed. Even to basic encounters, you have to pay attention in that game. It is astronomically hard, even on normal. It has the coolest game over system. If you die, you go to hell, and at the River Styx, you can bribe Charon to give you a second shot at life. But if you bribe Charon and that bribery puts you into debt, like say you only have 50,000 marker, which is the game's currency, and he charges you 70,000, you're 20k in debt. He will still give you another life, but you're 20k in debt now. So any money you earn will go into paying off that debt instead. If you die again whilst you're still in debt, then he won't listen to you and it's just over. You get your game over. And I love that mechanic. Because you don't even have to pay him. If you go down the first time, if you just want to take the loss, you can just say no and accept the game over. Or you can bribe him. But like I said, the bribery cost can be huge. It depends how far you are into the game. If you're like right at end game and you game over, he will charge you like 200,000 and it will like burn a hole in your bank no matter what. But at the start of the game, it's only like 8k. So you're more likely to have that. So it's a bit more generous. But I genuinely, that's like my favorite game over mechanic in any game ever. Because it's up to you. It's a choice even after you die how you want to handle continuing on. And the fact that even if you don't have the money to pay the debt, you can. It just puts you, not to pay the fine. You can do it. Just you're in debt, and so you have to be wary on your earnings after that point, and wary of your fights after that. The game also had the ability to, you know, save literally anywhere. So if you're really that paranoid, there's nothing stopping you from manually saving after every single fight. Like every single random encounter. And that's what I actually did in this tutorial, because it was my... I remember getting completely overwhelmed early on, and so I became paranoid. So even though I didn't need to, I'd save after like almost every fight until like you started getting more of a rhythm and more of a comfort zone, like about partway through the game. Anyway, the size is totally different, but it looks exactly like the others around it. And I wish they brought it back in 4 Part 2, but 4 Part 2 completely just threw that out the window. 4 Part 2's game over system doesn't exist. You die, and Dagda just asks you if you want to try again, and you go, yeah. And that's it. There's no punishment or requirement whatsoever, so you just got an infinite amount of freebies. Which I get it was more modern, cleaning up and whatnot, but I kind of prefer the you get another shot but at a cost that they had at 4 and before. And from what I can tell, 5 goes back to the old school system. Presentations. Oh, I completely disagree with that. Presentation can be done in any genre, for any reason, in any way. The only thing JRPGs do is that they make the characters stand in certain positions to give the camera an easier time to make the bosses stand out. Whilst action RPGs have to have a more dynamic camera, so it's harder work. I'll agree that it's harder for ARPGs, but I don't agree that yeah, that's because it is harder, so you have to have a dynamic camera. Whilst when it's a JRPG, the characters are fixed, the boss is fixed, so like the camera and presentation work is easier to handle, because you're basically making like an artistic shot. Whilst in ARPGs, because the things are moving, the camera has to be dynamic to make it work. So it requires a lot more effort, but then that's just down to the talent and ability of the people working on it. Ninja War's an example. Ninja War's... The problem with Ninja Wars is far deeper than what genre it's in. And I've always say it, and I'll keep saying it, the gameplay system in Ninja Wars is fine. It's absolutely nothing in the game works to make you want to use it. The actual core mechanics and system of the game is fine, but everything else is like, what's the point? There's nothing in the game that challenges you or forces you to use that game's mechanics, so you don't, and then you breeze through everything. But a really cool final boss. Yeah, they could have. I'll disagree. I mean, you can if you want. I mean, each character had their own moveset, they had their own special system, they had their own way of attacking ranged, they had 3 layers of supers that could give alternate bonuses other than just being a super art. They had like those big special finale things. They had insta switch, so you could literally just start a combo of one character and bring it to the other. They had a really good set of systems and mechanics in place that worked, that everything fitted, everything tied into one another, everything encouraged exploration and ability. Every game ever? Yeah, but now you're undermining it. The point is, it could do everything. It did have all these pieces. It did have it. The problem was, there's not a single fucking thing in that game that demands any of that from you, so you have no reason to use any of it. The game's so piss easy, the enemy variety is so non-existent, the bosses are so repetitive, nothing in that game demands you to use any of the skills that game offers you, so everything feels less as a result. Final boss. Final bosses like damage sponges? Not all of them. In fact, some of the better ones really don't. Heck, Kingdom Hearts really doesn't, outside of fucking Yuzora. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep's best super boss only has like the least amount of health of anything in the game. Because the whole point is the gimmick of being able to get in once. If you can get in once and rip him, you're good. Final bosses, that's game from game, but most ARPGs, especially nowadays, are way better than it. It was mostly during the 360 and early PS4 era that I felt like it was very problematic. What was the final boss? Yeah, but the thing is, you keep on citing a bad game. That's the problem. You keep on citing a game that's just fucking bad. You're citing a game that's a bad example that everyone agrees is a bad version of an ARPG and not the standard. I get what you're aiming for. People like it. That's it. I've said before, I like the mechanics, I just think everything else lets it down. I like what they were trying to do with it, I just hate how it was executed. Like, keep on, it's fine, dude. I said that was my biggest point, even in my review. I said I genuinely like what they were trying to do here, it's just everything else stops it from becoming anything special. And I even finished my review saying, if they took their time to take in all the criticism, had the money and resources to really knuckle in and do something with it, they could really make something better, way fucking better, and genuinely really enjoyable out of a sequel. But as it stands, the game's just fucking rough, as a whole. It's got glimmers, like there are some diamonds in the rough, but the rough is way too big to acknowledge the diamonds too much. You don't want to dig through the bullshit. Yeah, and the final boss theme is genuinely, like, really good. It's like one of the only tracks in that game I really liked. Because I found the rest of the track not bad, but just forgettable. Like, it didn't stick with me or stand out. The final boss theme, however, was dope. I really liked it. To be fair, my biggest gripe with Ninja Force, and not Ninja Force, is the problem that exists in way too many NEP spin-offs. I felt the story to be non-existent. I just didn't give a fuck. It was so bad. And right being that good of a track. A boss of a V2 presentation. Yeah, but that's the presentation though. I still think even if Ninja Wars was a fucking good ARPG and not what we got, they could have still nailed it. They still could have made it an imposing force. They could have still balanced it right and all that stuff. Yeah, god dang sister. Speaking of NEP, we're literally, I say 2 days, but I said if those, usually with Kotatsu magazines, the scans come out a day early. So there's a chance tomorrow's stream we'll be talking about Compile Heart's next big announcement. There's a chance. It depends what time, in Japan time, those scans drop, but there's a chance that tomorrow's stream we'll be talking about whatever happened with whatever's next with Compile Heart. My biggest hope is Death End Request 3. Yeah, that track is godly. I completely agree. I love that track. My biggest hope is Death End 3. Second is NEP 5. After that, a new IP. If not, I don't want anything else because I'm tired of spin-offs. Even if the spin-offs were good, I think I'd still be tired of the spin-offs just because of how many we've had. Even if all the spin-offs were super amazing and peak quality and whatnot, I think I'd still be a little bit oh, another one, I'm at that point, and because not all of the NEP spin-offs are made the same, to be nice, I'm even more burnt out with them. If they announce another spin-off tomorrow for NEP, I think I will scream. I mean, I love him so dang much. I think I will genuinely just lose the plot and scream. Right, inquiry check. The only thing I wish I could see behind the curtain a little bit, I want to know how much dev time and how much budget Idea Factory and GJRPG actually get for their respective projects. Because I think if we knew what that was, especially with some games, Dragon Star Varnir, it would paint such a huge picture of what's actually going on. Because DSV, that game is like very blatant, ran out of money. I love that game. I genuinely love Dragon Star Varnir for what it is. But that game is like extremely blatant. We ran out of money at one point. You get to a point in the game, it's like everything's just wrapped up in a cutscene with no explanation. Final Fantasy's first draft? Yeah, and I agree. I love that game and what it's trying to do and where it's going. But there are things that feel out of place or feel like should have had another go around or weren't budgeted properly. Like, it feels like that game didn't have much of a budget. And I'm willing to bet it didn't. In fact, we kind of know it didn't, because Compo Heart, in like reports before, have stated that outside of leading projects, which, as far as we're aware, is Neptune, Death End, and Mary Skelter, everything else does just get a side game level budget, even if it's a new title. So Dragon Star Varnir, at bare minimum, was functioning off of a spin-off game's budget. So the fact that they got anything they had out of it, the fact they got what they did out of it, was a miracle. It's also why that game has like so little voice acting after like the first chapter, because they just didn't have the budget to get the voice cast in for that many sessions. Like, even in the Japanese version, not much of the game compared to like other Idea Factory games' voice. Like, it's very little actually compared to others. Like, it's still enough, but it's still small. From the ruins, shame is a shape, but it's a proper revival of the Agorist series. I will die a happy and peaceful man. It could be, and that's another option. So I've never played it, which is why I didn't put it on the list, but that'd probably be my fourth. I would be happy with a new IP. I'd be happy if it's a proper NEP 5, because it's something that isn't just another spin-off to look forward to, regardless of what it ends up being. I don't care what it ends up being, if it ends up being great or whatnot. It's just the fact that the main series actually is still breathing to some extent. You know, that's kind of all I want at this point, just to have it breathe and exist. We can figure out if it's going to be good or bad, and or what it's going to be worth the money and whatnot after it's actually out and we've all got to play it. But just for it to exist would be nice. But my ultimate is Death End 3, because Death End 2 was like one of my favourite games of the PS4 generation, full stop. And as I said before, if they announce Death End 3, that puts Death End 1 and 2 on my streaming list, because I said I'd only go through those games again if they announce 3, so we'll have to see. Tell us something about Fee. So this journey was in vain. Well, it's not like we can really expect everything to be that convenient. Everything's my priority as well. Yeah. True, besides, we can't say the trip was a total waste just yet. There are still more areas to explore, so let's keep going. I want to see, and I know they're not going to do it because Death End is Death End, and it's going to be dark as shit, and it's going to be focused probably on, you know, all those ethereal planes, otherworldly shit more in Death End 3, if that is what's next. But I just want to see Mai and Roy function as a couple. That's all I want to see. I've said it before, but I love the fact that they actually end up a couple at the end of the game. And they share a house together, and like and it's funny because there was a point of time where people were were trying to deny it and trying to pretend it wasn't, and it was like, oh no, it's not because of this thing, or it's not because of that, and it's not that. And every single time without fail, the director of the game has come out and saying they're gay, they're in love with each other, get over yourself. I'm just like, that's my man. It's like they're a couple. That's the whole point of Death End 2. It's literally partially a love story between the fucking two. There's obviously other things going on. It's a whole different experience. Yeah, I still like Dirk 1, but Dirk 1 I found very clunky. I found it over-ambitious in places. I liked what they got, and I liked it at the end of it, but Death End 2, narrowing it down to just a city, I genuinely think was a good option, because it felt like it was more focused. And to be honest, I know that city like the back of my hand now. Do see more. Well, if they are, it's canon. There's no nothing about it, it's canon. The whole point of that ending scene is to show that they are happily living together. Like, I mean, they straight up confirm they are living together. They share a house, they share a flat. But, like, they are literally a couple. They are holding hands, they are together. They use symbolism. Instead of just making it context or subtext or whatever, it's symbolism they use by showing other relationships and showing that they pick up on it and become a part of their better sides. And so the director himself has confirmed every single time asked, and even the writers have said, yeah, no, that's the point. They are a confirmed couple at the end of the game. The reason why they're holding hands isn't just Rotty being Rotty, it's because they're a pair. And considering this is the same writer that, you know, the exact same director and writer that wrote Otsu and Little Mermaid getting married, I believe them. You know? Considering it's the same writer that made 2 girls actually be married, I believe them. If they say, yeah, no, it's canon they're doing this, I'm like, alright, I just want to see it in Dirk 3. You know, that's my thing. Symbolism, they should have been more explicit. Yeah, to an extent they should have. But at the same time, I love the fact that when I finished the game, I knew. I love the fact that the game didn't have to tell me, and didn't have to spell it out for me. That I reached the end of the game, and I knew, because I caught on to that. It wasn't even a subtext thing, I cottoned on, I was like, oh right, that means this, and it means that. He employed Naoko Mizuno, who believed Pluto was a sadist. Yeah, and that was also... When did Victory 1 come out? 2009? 2010? Company's changed a lot since then. And keep in mind, that's also Compile Heart, the publishing. Not the actual devs within it, ID. ID and GJ. Because GJ, their teams are the ones that write Death End. They're the ones that did Mary Skelter. And I believe it was like... It was split. It was half and half for Dragonstar between the two. Whilst Fairy Fencer, I think... I might be wrong on Fairy Fencer, but I think Fairy Fencer, NEP obviously, and the other half of Dragonstar, and Aggregus, I believe, were Idea Factory. Didn't catch it either. Yeah, is it Combo Heart are just the publisher? They're not the ones making it. They have 2 teams under them. One is Idea Factory. No. In the West, it's complete fucking bullshit. But it's the other way around. In the West, there is a dev team called Compile Heart. In Japan, there is a publishing team called Compile Heart. Compile Heart straight up own Idea Factory. Publishers in the West are Idea Factory International, not Idea Factory. That's a different company, they just use the name. It's annoyingly complicated, but Compile Heart is the actual publisher. They straight up own Idea Factory. They own GJRPG. And they think they own one other studio, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. Idea Factory are the developers of the entire Neptunia series. Idea Factory International are the publishers when it comes to the West. But that used to not be the case. They used to reach out to third parties. But Compile Heart also has a designated development team to help with translation, localizations, and other pieces that are reached out to in their Western translations and Western versions. It's annoyingly complicated. But yeah, no, Compile Heart, in the actual development, because these games are developed in Japan, so I'm working off that logic, it's Comp Heart are the publishers, ID are the devs, and GJ are the devs. And when it comes to the West, it just gets more complicated. Because fucking heaven forbid they make anything simple. In that other world, there are nights when the sun and moon overlap, but when that happens, flames shoot forth from one other side of the mountain. But one day, mana fire from the other world flowed into ours and began to swallow up our land. I must admit, it's quite an interesting phenomenon. Alright, it's listed also Fairy Fence. It's also drawn by GJ. Okay, that is GJ. Okay, I didn't know if that was GJ or not, but that is. But that's how it is. In the West, it's technically the other way around, but it's only on technically. Because Idea Factory International... Damn it, I was optimistic that'd be an Underworld Crystal. Idea Factory International are the publishers, but that's different from Idea... Yeah, because they're called... Their full company name is Galampagos JRPG. So I always called... so most people call them GJ. Because instead of going Galampagos JRPG, just call them GJRPG. Even then, that's not their name anymore. They changed their company name last year. I can't remember what they changed it to, but... I'm still going to call them GJ. It's what I've known them as, but... I'll call them GJ until I play a game with that name, and then I'll always call them that. Seem to me. No, it's just a shorthand. I know a few people... I know enough people that I just adopted it. But because it's JRPG, or Galampagos JRPG, I'm not going to say, like... I'm probably even pronouncing it wrong, but I'm not going to say Galapagos every single time, you know? So I just say GJ. Because most people know what I mean then when I say that. But they did change their name last year. I don't remember what they changed it to, but it was like an official rebranding of the company. They changed their name. Couldn't tell you what it was. J's kind of RPG. Hang on. Oh, you're right. I had to Google it because I was like, hang on a minute, am I going insane? You're right. Did they change their name to Galapagos Evolve? I just had to look it up because my brain was frying. I was like, wait, I've always called them GJ. Yeah, they changed their company to Galapagos Evolve. It's still got the RPG in the logo though for that title, but that's what they call themselves. How many Anthem for? Ah, fair enough. I just that blew my mind. I was like, hang on a minute, what? If I guess my brain always just inserted the J. Because, you know, they do make JRPGs, so my brain just always put it in. My bad. But I've always called them GJ, and I know a lot of people also call them GJ, because their name starts with G. I'm guessing I'm not the only one that made that mistake then. Either that, or it's just, they make JRPGs, Gallon's JRPGs, GJs. And maybe I just misunderstood their logic. Oh, I'm missing 2 fragments still. One of them's like whatever's at the end of this area, and one's that Shadow Beast. But is that Shadow Beast both of them, or just one of them? Oh, they're not Shadow Beasts, never mind. Okay, so we are still missing 2. These are just the normal enemies of the area. There's 1. Oh, here's 2. Oh, there's a cutscene. City Company Anthem. They sang their own company anthem and it's hilarious. Yeah. Did you ever see that video where the localization team for RGG, to like celebrate like the anniversary of the company, sung the Majima Construction Anthem together? Like there's like a video and it's like all of them singing Majima Construction, like the entire like dev team, like the translation team, and like they're all dressed up in Majima costumes and they go Majima, Majima, and I was like, oh my god, that video was charming as heck. This is also a crystal? I think so. It's so beautiful. I can't look away. Yes, it's like a whirlpool. I haven't seen anything like it. We ended up in this dungeon way longer than I planned to. I'm sure we entered here at like 10:30, but I've just been talking so much. It's such an unusual form. Maybe this also was created by those earthquakes of the past. So we're definitely not finishing this game this stream. We haven't even entered the final dungeon area. I'll do that tomorrow. So we might finish tomorrow. It'll take a massive force to create something like this. And this entire place, really. Because I'm working this evening, so I can't stream for too long. Hey. Look at this, when I get my friends on YouTube together and we do a recreation of the anthem. Do like Majima does. Yeah, that would be fun. So I'm just making sure that was not my internet dipping, because my phone buffered. I knew it, I have no doubts now. That's the thing, I'm wondering, like, because I work in a superstore, as I said before, I wonder how busy it'll bloody be tonight, considering, you know, the town was flooded yesterday. And so most things are still out of power. Like, how many people are just kind of, like, trying to deal with their insurance problems and staying at home for now? And up to? I don't know. It's on your end. If you can see something buffering properly, it might be. But it's like my phone buffered for a second, so I wasn't sure. But like yesterday it was, because like I said, you know, the town was flooded, so power was missing in places, and it was messing with signals. There must have been a gate here once, one that connected to the area of the underworld. What? But where? Mentioned it before, Seri. What makes you sure now? Error message. Oh no. Plants. The ones around here are the ones you can't find anywhere but in the underworld. Yeah, that shouldn't be on my end. If the stream's still going, you should still have to post. That might be on your end, on that one. I've only heard tales, never actually seen my own eyes, but apparently, when a very strong force occurs, like the one Tao mentioned, my throat's going a little bit, in very rare cases, it can cause a gate to form. And it's not even like it's going like, is it sore? It's like a bubble in my throat that needs to go. Seriously? In my world as well, there are stories that speak about major earthquake-like events. But we haven't seen a gate anywhere around here. And my throat needs to get its act together, because when I start Dangan 2, I am not going to disrespect Gundam Tanaka. I am doing that man's voice. So, yeah. I was just trying to figure it out. That was more for my conscience, me clarifying whose problem it might have been, one man. That was more like, well, no, my internet's not that bad, is it? My internet should be fine for the record. I have 108 download and 26 upload. It should be fine. So when it dips, that's why it ends up annoying me so much. So I'm like, what the fuck? Yes, I suspect it only existed here temporarily, and all that's left now is the aftermath. I believe it was near this crystal. I can sense its traces here. Fifi! Fi seems to be feeling a bit better too. So if we were to, say, dig up that crystal, would it cause the gate to open again? No. You can dig all you want, but I suspect all you'll find is dirt. Really? Then how does the whole process work? I don't think there's anyone who really knows who can create a connection between our two worlds. Sometimes a gate just suddenly appears for some reason, but just because it happens once, there is no guarantee that it will happen the same way again. I see. Well, even if we didn't learn anything about the gates, there is one thing we did learn. I can confidently conclude that this place bears no connection to the ruins and the legend we were researching. It's almost like it's a DLC area. What makes you say that? People have dwelled here once, but it looks nothing like the other ruins. There's no mention of it in the legend, and I think it's too natural to begin with. All the other locations are man-made, and you can feel the will of the people who made them to leave something for the future generations. Meanwhile, all this place has is a gate that appears and disappeared on its own. There is some weird connection. I think we would have found something. It's true. I'm not really nearly as smart as you, Tal, but my intuition tells me you're right. Yeah, if you say something confidently enough, everyone will think you're right. Still, just learning that a place like this exists makes adventuring worthwhile, I believe. I agree, but to be honest, I wouldn't mind if nobody else found out about it, for now at least. We might not know everything, but we know it has something to do with the underworld, right? Right, and if word of that got out, it could cause all kinds of trouble. Exactly, everyone is happy to just avoid this place anyway, so let's keep this our little secret. So we got another secret hideout, huh? Oh, I like it.
I like the sound of that. I thought there weren't any treasures here, but I guess this place itself was the treasure all along.
Clifford has a real "the friends I made along the way is the real treasure" attitude to everything.
Everything is always, well, the journey was fun.
Fee! So that's it? That's the DLC? Well, I think one of them. I think there's another, like, high-impact area. Actually, I can check. Give me 1 second. I could have sworn. Yeah, we've got Cladora Castle, and there's Flame Sun Island. Where the fuck's that? I wonder if that's a post-game area, because it says high difficulty on the DLC. I mean, I have got it installed. We'll have to check. If we don't unlock it in post-game, we'll have to see. Anyway, what a strange crystal. Look at the swirl, it's so beautiful. There used to be a source of mana from another world deep beneath the ground here. That swirling crystal is a remnant of that. Another world? It looks like something out of a fairy tale. Little brother would love to hear about something like that. Still, that was one terrible monster. Without you, we wouldn't have stood a chance. No, not at all. I couldn't have done anything without her help. I'm ashamed of my inexperience. Do we have... yeah, we do have everything. Alright, let's put this together. Every single other menu button but the correct one. Here we are. Jesus Christ. Earthbound Dragon in grave danger. Let's go, ancient map, massive earthquake, social phenomenon. There we go. Clusters of swirling crystals, mana from another world. Incidents, fearsome monsters, brief skill, to be suspended, so lost its mana, souvenir, mana fire, maimed. There we are. And elixir only in the other world. Alright, we're gonna max this out, get more SP we don't need. Mana Flame and Land of Fire. Oh, we saw that in our extremely long list. Etching Sun and Moon. Strange Event and Incidents. Oh, that's kind of vague. There we go. The monsters on the mountain are much more ferocious than the ones in the surrounding areas. The Earthbound Dragon is especially fearsome. The travellers had obviously put themselves in grave danger. The travellers were rescued by a wandering apothecary, and they eventually made their way deep underground, to an area filled with clusters of strange swirling crystals. The explorers managed to make their way deep underground after they were rescued by a wandering apothecary. There, they found strange clusters of swirling crystals, which were said to be the remnants of the mana from another world. Mana of the underworld flowed beneath the Cladora mountain. Together with the flow of mana, some plants native to the underworld had also crossed over to this world. The apothecary gave the travellers an elixir made from a cold flower that can only be found in the area. Originally, the flower only grew in the other world, so the underworld, but it had apparently come here with the flow of mana they found in its way to our world. When the sun and moon overlapped in the underworld, a mountain there erupted with mana flame. As an after effect of this event, similar flames erupted from the Cladora mountain and turned the land into an uninhabitable land of fire. An old etching on the stone tablet shows the sun and the moon overlapping in the sky. A great natural disaster occurred when the sun and the moon overlapped in the skies of the two worlds. The after effects of the natural disaster that occurred in the underworld seem to have spilled over into the Cladora mountain. Everyone's feeling restless after the strange events of the sun and the moon rising in the sky as one. We had earthquakes, then the fires, and then the monsters. We were all desperately hoping no more incidents would come. So yeah, like an eclipse happened and it like caused a natural disaster, ruined everything. Interesting. Pickaxe swallowed by the crystal. Fairy stone fragments lost in mana. A pickaxe that was left abandoned on the mountain. It has been here for so many years, it's completely swallowed up by the crystals. Looks like people used to mine something on the mountain. People used to mine fairy stone in the mines of the mountain. Remnants of the mining operation can now be found even now. A heavy cloth bag filled with fairy stone fragments. Looks like these fragments were collected so long ago they have lost their mana once they once contained. Our kingdom of Cladora has prospered due to the abundance of high quality fairy stones. You who work in those mines are the true bearers of our kingdom. The Cladora kingdom used the fairy stones to build its wealth. Originally, the crystals were only used as a source of light, but further research revealed their true value to the world. For many years, fairy stones have been used as a light source. However, in recent years, the research into extracting mana from them has been gaining momentum, and the value of the fairy stone is consistently increasing. According to our latest land survey, further mining has been deemed impossible. Entry into the mountain is strictly prohibited from this point forward. Since the Cladora kingdom relied heavily on the mining operations, once the mine was suddenly closed, it quickly fell to ruin. The Cladora kingdom has survived years of war by making a fortune from mining operations. However, it is said to have fallen into an instant decline once it lost its source of fortune. Funds of treatment, treasures of Cladora. Oh, we're on it. Shining structure of void. Fearsome monsters improve his skill. Fairy stone pendant souvenir. Falling rapidly, hidden fortune. So come on, I've only got so many left. Ancient map and territory. Nice. An antiques dealer came from the mountain in search of Cladora Castle ruins and any lost treasures they might hide. Her younger brother was suffering from a terrible disease, and she was searching for ways to make enough money to afford his treatment. The antiques dealer's younger brother had a serious illness that required extensive funds for treatment. Desperate, the dealer came seeking the lost treasures of Cladora, hoping to find something that could be used to raise the money. The Cladora mountain is not only constantly on fire, but also harbours terrible monsters. Since it is too dangerous to approach, any hidden treasures hidden inside may still be untouched. Upon the mountain's summit stands a shining structure. Though to the ruins of Cladora Castle, since people avoid coming here because of the threats of fire and monsters, there could still be plenty of this treasure just waiting to be discovered. It is believed that fearsome monsters lurk on the fire-breathing mountain, and people are afraid to go near it. One day, a lone hunter dared approach, filled with a desire to improve his skill with the bow. There was no Cladora castle on the mountain, nor was there any treasure. All they found within the mine was a fairy stone pendant, whose only value was a souvenir for their friend and brother, who was waiting eagerly for their return. The travellers came to the mountains in search of the Cladora treasures, but there was no royal castle there, and no treasure to seek. The long-gone kingdom of Cladora rose to prominence during a time of warfare. It has fallen rapidly following a certain string of events, but it is said that some of the royalty and aristocrats have left behind a hidden fortune. An ancient map on a parchment. According to the map, this area belonged to the territory of the Cladora kingdom. And last but not least, impending doom and swallowed by flames. Oh, that sounds fun. Remnants, fairy stone remained. Beneath the ground, abandon everything. An endless supply of fairy stones disappeared. Alright, final 3. Flammable gas, temporarily suspended. Massive earthquake, celestial phenomenon, and then... Gee, I wonder what this one is. Alright, and now we've got even more SP that we have no ability to do anything. Yeah, we're going to do 1500 more SP! Researching the Cladora castle is done. Alright, last chunk of reading. The flames that exist now are merely remnants of the great natural disaster of the past. It is said that the flames once raged like a storm, as they burned the mines. After the mana flames passed on, only fairy stones remained. The flames that erupted from the ground raged violently and burned their entire mountain. The flames had also contained mana, and left behind a trail of fairy stones in their wake. The fires, that erupted from beneath the ground, quickly spread across the entire mountain, so that everything went to shit, and so they were forced out. Such a major disaster left those living on the mountain with no choice but to abandon everything and flee the area. The flames consumed the mountain, and the people were forced to flee. Perhaps the stories of this event were passed down, changing shape and telling the tale of the vanishing of the mountain. The old Cladora kingdom, there were mines of endless fairy stones, crowned with miners, but on the night when the sun and moon rose, all the miners had vanished. Oh, so that's showing... Okay, yeah, that's saying that there, you get a piece of info saying they maybe vanished. This is saying they had to retreat. Flammable gas was detected in various parts of the tunnel. We are currently investigating any possible links to the recent earthquakes, and all mining work has been temporarily suspended until the safety of the mine can be confirmed. The peaceful mines were struck by a massive earthquake. It happened just as the grand feast was being held to celebrate the mysterious celestial phenomenon. The great disaster was preceded by harbingers such as earthquakes and gas leaks. But it seems people were unable to understand what these signs meant. Sensing something unusual, the wandering apothecary visited the mine. She warned them of a terrible disaster to come, but the miners had no reason to believe her words. And then they died. Alright, so everything but plot is 100%ed, so we're in good stead for that trophy. Oh, whoops, I held the button. But I'm hungry and I want to have some good food in me before I get ready for work, so I think I'm going to wrap it here. I'm going to double check that I definitely have that other optional dungeon installed, but I think it's a post-game thing. And if that's the case, then hey, we got more streams of Ryza 2 before I really wrap it up. But I digress. I mean, let this poor girl sleep the night and then we will continue on our way tomorrow. Right, that being said, as always, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't, liked and subscribed if you want to see more, because it genuinely does everything to help. I'm making an effort to make it into that habit. You can always follow me on Twitter. Patreon is also in the links of my description if you so feel the need to offer that tip, but don't feel like you have to, it's just there if you'd like to. You know where to find me on everything else. I'll see you again tomorrow for more Atelier Ryza 2 at the same usual time. Till then, you guys take care now. Peace.